The following program is rated TV MAL. It contains strong language and is intended only for mature audiences.
She turns up at the wedding, and the bride's got a nice rack. That's what I got from this episode.
Did that get the episode a point?
No.
No?
No. Because, right, I'll tell you why. Because I have actually thought this out. I'm not even joking. Because Jamila comes on later, and, you know, she's got some goods. Mm-hmm. And I was just like, oh, do I give it a point for Jamilia's jubblies? And the bride's jubblies, and I can't give tit points.
Oh, how
then I'm gonna be just giving tit points throughout the season, and it's gonna have this. No, so I'm like, I'm sorry, breasts, you can't score. You can't score.
Good job.
I know. I thought so. I had to put my foot down, and it was hard. You know, it was a hard decision because she got a nice rack.
And the woman that they actually had playing the girl that was getting married, she's actually trans. And I don't know if people knew that.
I just thought she was ugly.
Yeah, that's a dude.
I said she had a nice rack.
Hey, the one scene when
got you.
Wait,
a trap.
So when
a trap.
It's a trap. When the two women started arguing and he jumped out of the window, that was the only scene I could identify with.
I identified with that so much. Like,
I think they're setting up the villain to be an incel, and it's probably one of the dudes she dated.
Oh my god, it was so.
I thought she was so obsessed with She-Hulk's actual boobs.
Quarter fucking timeline.
I do too.
Hey, Az, you didn't fucking jerk off to her, did you?
He did. He did.
Thought about
it. All right. I'm just getting flashbacks to the Ace Ventura. You know, Ace Ventura.
Oh yeah.
I'm a transgender woman, and as a trans person, it's hard to articulate exactly how I feel. But I guess if I had to describe it, I'd say, I don't know.
I am not gay. I have relationships with women and sex with men.
And I got news for you. That means you're gay.
Oh man, that was the longest delay to wait for Gary to get here. 5 minutes and 5.5 minutes.
I just walked in the door.
Everyone. Do you know what? The greatest pleasure I've had this year just happened was Clifton had no idea where the She-Hulk video was going. And when Christy said that was played by a transgender, I can see everyone in the back, and Clifton just lost it. Just absolutely lost it. Now just try and do a 180 on those emotions, and that's what I was going through.
As you into that boy pussy. You love that. Them man titties.
The man titties.
Nice rack.
Oh God, that was funny.
I thought it was manatees, but I ended up with man titties. So
I'm gonna change my pronouns, but I don't want to get you too excited.
Well, might already be excited right now.
Might already be excited.
Wow.
We can't see below his chest. We don't know what's going on down there right now.
We don't want to know what's going on.
Oh God, that's funny.
That's the pleasure dome. That's the Frankie Goes to Hollywood down there, you know. Hey, how's everyone doing today?
Hi.
Great.
How are you doing, Az?
Hey,
Question.
that's 2 weeks ago now. I'm just about getting over it. Just about. But
oh, that's funny. You were feeling it too. You were like, damn, look at them the decolletage, the cleavage.
Dude,
I bet
it was it's a nice rack.
Put on some lotion and rub it down and it's okay.
I don't want to brag, but you know, we got some Duncan Fresh Bollocks here, you know.
Have they sponsored you yet?
No.
They should.
I know.
They really should.
Smells really good as well, you know. Gary with the Isom t-shirt. How you doing?
Good.
Looking good, Gary.
Yeah.
Thank you. I just put it on like a second before I jumped in front of the camera because I just went in the door.
You got yourself up for Clifton.
When you said I'm just grabbing a coffee, I thought you meant in the kitchen. I didn't realize you meant.
I meant out to get a coffee.
I'm going to Colorado. I'll be right back.
Yeah, I was 2 blocks away. It just took a minute.
Took a minute.
2 blocks in Texas is it's like pretty fucking
blocks. It was like 3 miles.
Yeah.
Yeah, all your Isom stuff came. I saw your Tweety Poozies.
Somebody took an ad out to diss
What?
So
I don't think that's the burn that you think it is. I really don't.
somebody paid. Yeah. Somebody paid to take an ad out on how Isom is a bad and it's a fraud.
Do you have it? Do you have that? Can you grab that?
Yeah, I can pull it up.
Was it a Facebook ad?
I think so. It was either Twitter or Facebook or Instagram.
I don't do Facebook.
Well, Facebook and I think Instagram, you can pay ads for your videos, right? So they will be advertisements. That's probably what it was. Some guy pumping his.
Okay.
What a great waste of money. Meanwhile,
I know
Ripper sits on 3.8 million, but okay.
Women,
they took out an ad to say it's bad.
Strokes and dollar bills.
Yeah, it's right here.
And that's good. He earned it.
So worst comic ever ad. It looks like Ripper's crying with laughter at your own advert.
I know.
It doesn't look like he's crying because he's upset. It looks like he's crying laughing at you wasting your money on a pathetic advert.
I love it when he's not even like the first My Diaz. He's like the 23rd. Come on, dude.
How's this weird? So you click the ad and it takes you to a YouTube video? Is that it?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So you could, every time you put a post on your, I think it's regular Facebook page or your page, like I have a Nerdrotic page, you can amplify that by giving them $500, $1,000, and it promises you it will be seen by 1,000 people. It's absolute bullshit. It's a ripoff. You might as well set your $1,000 on fire or your $500 on fire. It's garbage. Okay.
So the Oh My Diaz 23 YouTube channel, which is the one because I see the thumbnail, has got 1.53 1,500 subscribers. So
How many views on the video?
1.9K, which is his biggest viewed video by far. But I'm just glad that he's got one 3 weeks ago for 5.6 saying angry Little Mermaid fans, white edit. Cool story, bro. So I'm glad he wasted his money
It's
on absolutely
part
nothing.
of the ankle biter crowd. So, I mean, it's to be expected. Not surprising at all.
Talk about living rent free in somebody's head.
Mm-hmm.
Nina, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. Thank you so much. I put out a video the other day, and I'm pretty sure my channel is shadow banned. So everybody go watch my video after this beautiful stream, and it should be good. I put a lot of work into it. There you go.
Cool.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Not anymore. Mola, how are you doing?
I'm feeling bad because Nina's gone, and I don't know why. This cruel world took her. Oh, there she is.
It's called sexism.
Sexism in the real BBC.
Yeah, I'm doing great. You know, been enjoying the House of the Dragons on my mind after that last episode. Lots to think about. As we only got 2 before me and Gary are going to tell you to maybe watch it or not.
I know. I think it's looking like you're going to tell me to by the sounds of it.
Yeah.
I mean, unless they fuck it up in the last 2, it's possible. But yeah, the last episode especially got it trending a couple of times. A lot of people were impressed with what happened.
I am lurking in those streams.
Me too.
I don't want to make this sound like a sneak diss at all, because it is very late and I am in bed at the time. So I kind of turn it on and I drift off with it on.
Yeah, that's fine.
We send you to sleep, is what you're saying. We are so boring. That's what you're saying, isn't it? Be honest.
Yes.
Tell her.
Yes.
If I had to screw up, if I hadn't effed up last Sunday, dude, and played too much of a clip, we would have hit 8,000 viewers.
Did you get turned off?
Yeah, I got turned off. Like,
I was trying to. There was points where I was like, Gary, no.
But it was like, it's so good. I want to. Yeah, I fucked.
Are you talking about the crown bit? Because the crown bit was on Twitter, and I know Mauler's going to tell me off this, but I did see it.
You fool!
I'm avoiding it.
It's you need to do the relationship. Okay, I know.
Don't.
But the crown falling off was just a mistake.
Apparently, yeah.
Apparently, the crown falling off was a mistake, and the actors just improvised the rest because they're professionals.
I'm willing to believe that the initial crown dropping was a mistake, but they probably thought, "Holy shit, this is really good. Let's actually do it for real." That's a thing that can happen.
Sure.
But like, yeah, I can believe that it fell off at first because I doubt they had the camera set up perfectly to record Damon picking it back up for him. I don't think that was going to be set up at the time. Maybe not. But yeah, I'm willing to believe that stuff like that happens all the time. And it's really good to know that a moment like that.
But even a cropped shot would still work because of the resolution of the cameras that would have been involved. So.
Well, regardless, it's one of the best parts of all of the Game of Thrones universe, that scene. So, good job.
Even I was moved, and I barely know. You know, I ain't been watching it, but even I thought that was just the whole implication of it was like, God, that's powerful. That's really
baby
powerful.
bruv coming to help his brother in a moment of need, which is what he's always wanted.
Yeah.
It's encapsulated in a scene with no dialogue again.
Yeah, they set it up in episode 1, so it's the show cares a lot.
Yeah,
which is great.
Yep.
The reason why I'm not watching chat, people saying why aren't they watching, is just season 8 killed it for me.
Yeah.
Game of Thrones season 8 just
perfectly reasonable response, by the way.
Yep.
Morley. So other than that, how are you doing?
Well, good. Playing some games in the form of God of War. Still editing some stuff up for the Halloween Final Destination arc. All normal. Everything's running normal, except I'm going to have to review Rings of Power soon. Every other Saturday, that's when I have to do it.
It's the last one.
Yeah. I won't have to do this again.
The title says everything has led to this, because that's what they said in the trailer for the final episode. And nothing has led anywhere at all so far.
Yeah, who the fuck cares about what's going to happen? Just end. This is one of those, like, please leave. Like, a guest overstayed.
Yeah.
But they've only been there for a minute. And you're like, please go. And they're like,
we are stood by the front door and it's open.
I was really hoping that the Harfoots would be burned by the volcano, but that.
Yeah, well.
Don't worry. You'll get some satisfaction this week.
Ooh, okay. Can't wait.
And we've got a very special guest this week. Can you please give a big hand for the beautiful, lovely she, her, Clifton Duncan? How you doing, sir?
I am doing so fabulously well right now, you guys. First of all, I see people in the chat saying that the volume is weird. How is my volume right now? Is it all right?
Good.
Yeah, it's fine.
You're fine.
All right, cool. Well, I was I put it on automatic adjustment, but let me know if I need to change it again. But as far as how I'm doing, well, I made some references off camera to how I'm doing. I'm experiencing some THC withdrawal right now, so I'm feel like I'm going through my period phase. I'm cranky. I'm irritable. I can't sleep. I need somebody to sit down and feed me some chocolate. I was crying yesterday. I'm in pain right now. I tried to go to the gym earlier today. I was like, I can't. I'm shaking. So I'm going through it right now. But no, it's funny. I was last night. I was just trying to kill some time, and I booted up the new Ninja Turtles game, the Shredder's Revenge. So I was playing it, and Donatello's my main, you guys, by the way. And I got so pissed at one point. I mean, I've beaten this game a million times. I destroyed my Pro controller from my Switch, and I threw it out the fucking window.
Oh no!
Is that THC withdrawal, or was that just from?
I was so irrationally angry, and I knew why, but I chucked it out the window. That's the third controller I've had to replace. I'm not going to buy another one. I'm just at this point, it's so embarrassing. So that's how I'm doing right now. But
Nintendo provides the
with
safety straps. Like you're supposed to put the safety straps on, so when you're throwing it out, it's like
that's the Wii. That's the Nintendo Wii, Nina.
They still do that, don't they? With
the Joy-Cons have the straps on. The Pro
the Joy-Cons do. That's right.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm doing all right, man. I'm happy to be here, and I need some lighthearted banter right now.
Well, as someone who's destroyed multiple pads in the day, I understand. I empathize with you, sister.
Well, I appreciate it.
I destroyed a keyboard once. That's as far as I got.
I've done keyboards.
Yeah.
Oh, Stan Lee.
Ooh.
Who's that guy?
What's that?
Yeah, I
don't know. I just know the name. I don't know who they are.
What was the signature on, Gary?
Oh, it was on Captain America, The Death of Captain America: Fallen Son. It was a blank cover. Jeff Loeb, John Romita Jr. came after Cap died, and there was So I got Stan to sign a bunch of blank covers, really big, and have them CGC'd because they'll be worth money, and then I'll never sell them because I don't sell my collection. It's not the same. Good one too.
Ooh.
I'm just pulling out my CGCs because it's good. Hey, Clifton, try kicking opioids.
Bro, I can't. It's given me so much empathy. I can't imagine how difficult it is to, alcoholism, harder drugs.
Alcohol's bad too.
Oh man,
it can kill you. Kicking heroin, kicking opioids generally won't kill you unless you have some kind of heart condition or something like that. But kicking heroin, kicking certain psychiatric drugs and alcohol can kill you. You have to do it. Yeah. You have to have a doctor monitor you. It's hardcore. No, it's not fun, man. But are you like sober October, or you just run out? Your dealer moved out of town or something like that?
No, man. I just I was just doing too much, man. And and I've been a pothead for like 10 years, and I got to the point where I was like, I was just smoking way too much, and I began to really actively hate myself and say, no, I need to do something new, something different. So I'm gonna just turning over a new leaf right now, so to speak.
That's good.
That's good. Good for you. Yay.
Thank you. But what's funny though is I find that whenever you mention that you're getting off of that weed, people get really, really, really pissed off at you for some reason. I'm like, dude, I'm not saying that you can't have it. I'm not saying there's no medicinal benefits. I'm not saying that people belong in jail for using it. I'm just saying I don't want to use it. Like, calm down, chill out. It's just me.
A lot of projection on that. It's the same thing. Like, I'm going to start working out, on Twitter. That'll get you. That'll trigger.
That'll get all the fat people mad. It's
crazy.
pretty funny.
I'm right there with you, Clifton. It should be legal. People can do it however the hell they want, whatever. It's not for me. I think it's a very good time because when shit's about to go down, you want to have a clear head. You want to have a clear head when shit goes down.
Do you though?
It depends. If the shit goes like, if there's a, if you see the mushroom clouds off in the distance, I'm fucking opening.
Yeah, I'm lighting one up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Until then, if it's like, oh, we got to Mad Max it for a little while, I'm gonna be sober. I'm gonna be sober because I want to survive.
Right.
If I see the mushroom cloud, dude, I'm just gonna start whacking it off to She-Hulk brides.
Wow. It's not like you haven't done it already. So
I know.
Well, I haven't.
Been there, done that.
He did it right before he came on.
Nina, she's 7/8 away from getting fired now. 7/8. 7/8.
Not from my side.
No, from you can have her.
Oh, so you just said she's 7/8 away from being fired, so she's 1/8 toward it.
Okay, 7/8. No, 7/8 of the way to. Okay, 1, 2, 7.
She's
7/8 of the way.
D's away from getting fired. I don't know. That's not 7/8. Big double D's, the best men can buy.
The best men can buy. Wow. No, I hope we don't see any mushroom cloud, but
I just want more men on the panel. That's what's
from
going
a
on.
Brit looking at America.
Yeah.
It just looks like your country is being run literally by a foreign power right now.
It's we're run by a globalist power. So it is foreign, yes. Klaus Schwab.
I have a question, Gary and Clifton, specifically for you guys because you're in the States. Because everyone's kind of expecting a certain side to win next month.
Mm-hmm. They will.
I was just wondering.
Not in every race, though.
But I was just wondering if that doesn't happen, because a lot of people are expecting Donald Trump to win, and that didn't happen.
And then it'll be worse in 2024 because people are getting pissed. Like Democrats are flipping. Like the sentiment here is people are done with the shit. Like the people who probably should have been done with it about 5 fucking years ago, or maybe 2 years ago, or maybe 3 months into the pandemic, they're all of a sudden quiet now. They're really quiet. And then we have Gavin Newsom doubling down and making it illegal for doctors to disagree with politics, which is fucking insane and unconstitutional. And they can't do it. So
I
fucking hell.
I do get the sense that people are more and more people than ever. I use the example. I'm in I got pulled into this chat group on Twitter. It was a bunch of moms, and they pulled me in because I was one of the few people who said, yeah, we probably shouldn't be keeping kids out of school and putting masks on them. And why are we punishing them for all of this? And I've watched these people go from like lifelong Democrat supporters, voters, voting for Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren. I mean, the former Warren supporter in the chat was like, she's in San Francisco, and she was like, yeah, I voted Republican straight ticket the other day. I'm sick of this nonsense. They're all in the chat like, look at this gender nonsense. Like, what are we doing? Look at this racist nonsense. I mean, I think there are so many people now who are looking at what's going on with one side of the aisle, and they're just saying, I don't want any of this. I mean, just today, Tulsi Gabbard sent out the video. I'm sure you've seen it. She's like, I'm leaving the Democratic Party. I thought she was already gone. But,
I didn't see that yet.
Oh yeah, she was like, she's like, they're crazy. They're nuts. It's amazing because when you look at, I can't think of any aspect of our lives right now, from art to education, to the economy, criminal justice, law enforcement, energy. Everything these people touch has gone to shit, and in a very short period of time, and we can all see it. And I was checking some of the aggregate polling this morning, and 66% of Americans think that the country is not headed in the right direction. I mean, Biden's approval is hovering around 43 on average, 43%. And I think people can, unless they're in a cult, they can see what's going on. They know that we need to change somehow, some way. Now, whether the answer is stampeding hardcore to the right, to the Republicans, I don't know if that's quite the response, but I think a lot of people are feeling like these people, they've lost their ever loving minds, and something new needs to happen. I think the midterms next month. I mean, people are expecting the Democrats to get routed pretty badly. 2024, that's a bigger question. I think people are looking at it's either going to be Trump or DeSantis that runs. And I mean, I don't see anybody on the Democrat side who is exciting or interesting. On all the good people, the interesting people, even if I don't agree with them, keep leaving. Andrew Yang is gone. Tulsi Gabbard is gone. People who could bring some new kind of some new kind of thought and energy to the party. So those people are leaving, but the AOCs and these fucking airheads,
of course,
are at the center of the party.
But did Tulsi say that she's leaving for the Republicans, or is she going independent?
No,
she didn't say.
She's going independent. I'm
going to go independent.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because she was the voice of reason that I looked at on the left.
But like the thing is, like with most people here, even if they're registered Democrat or Republican, most people are independent. Most people are kind of like right down the middle. They'll flip. It doesn't matter whatever way they think the country's going. And then you have your hardcores on each side kind of pushing. And there's always it's always like maintained a balance. Even if we had presidents we hated, or I haven't liked many of them, to be honest with you. Everything is so out of whack right now. It's flipping a lot of people. And I think what has a lot to do with it is these fucking wine moms who largely vote on their emotions. Sorry, just saying it. Finally started taking their kids back to school, right? In some cases, in my case, I'll say in my case, first time in 2.5 years. And then see how my kids seem fine. I hate to put him on Front Street. My kids seemed fine for the first few days, and then he started having a little anxiety, right? My kid, who's never had it before, because it's shocking to him now that he's been out of school for 2 years. So I don't know, times that about 1 million, and how that affects kids. And we're talking my kid is going into his junior year this is his first day of high school was his junior year.
Wow.
Fucked up.
Why do I care? The world's on the brink of nuclear war. Do you understand that? Oh. Do you fucking understand what that means? The world is on the brink of nuclear war due to a bunch of fucking morons who are funding a corrupt nation and waving flags like they're the fucking greatest country in the world.
You're gonna get hip.
That's why I fucking care. Jesus, called empathy.
Well, on top of that, the United States, whether we like it or not, it is a world superpower. It's a world leader. It's an economic force. It's a cultural force. If things are going bad here, I mean, I often joke that whatever happens on this side of the pond, it gets flushed down and ends up on the other side. So, I think it makes sense to care about what happens here, as annoying as Americans may be to those outside the country. It's just, it's a big interconnected world, and if one of the big players goes down, I mean, I don't know what kind of effects that's going to have. I mean, I'm thinking about Trump's presidency and the sort of ripple effect that had throughout the entire world. I mean, I think people should care. They should care. I mean, they don't have to, but it's understandable that they do.
Yeah, not every second about every issue, but I think heading into a Cold War, which I'm still very skeptical about, but having some of us are old enough to have lived through it. We remember what it was like in the 80s.
I was born during one.
Well, I remember. The early 80s when it was we could die, we could actually die. It wasn't fun. As a kid just hitting puberty, we're told we're all gonna die when you just realize that you're not this immortal thing. It's fucked up.
I remember saying to my mum when I was a kid, I said, "Mum, do you think the Berlin Wall will ever come down in our lifetime?" And she was like,
"No,
wow,
1 million years."
Yeah,
so crazy.
And she was being, legit. She was like, "No, not in our lifetime."
Yep,
and then literally couple of years after I said that, the Berlin Wall comes down and David Hasselhoff sings.
Is it true that Hillary's running again?
God, I hope so.
I heard she wasn't.
Oh,
That'll be like an entertaining election.
I know. I was like, what?
You think her spasms were bad 4 years ago?
Why am I not 50 points ahead?
There is some consolation, though. Martino Simone, the Swan of Swiss, with 100 Swiss francs, says, calm down, as our plastic friends will survive the radioactive clouds. That is true.
That's true.
That is true. So fingers crossed in 1,000 years' time, they'll dig up my hot toys and then put them in a museum. Actually, I've got them in a plastic tub right now, so I got this as a double protected.
The archaeologists will only have a little bit of information, so there's a TV show called The Rings of Power caused a nuclear war that wiped out civilization.
You know, I will say though, it is very strange to me, and this might be you know, just me looking at crazy Twitter world, but people seem oddly nonchalant and cavalier about the state that we're in right now, and there's a huge inability to look at things with any sort of nuance. It's like, oh, if you say there's bad actors on both sides, you get accused, even if it's empirically true, you get accused of both sides and being wishy-washy, or of being some sort of Putin apologist. And I'm thinking to myself, well, no, it's possible for multiple things to be true at once. And,
yes.
Did you guys see Kim.com's tweet about Ukraine? That was good. That was a good one.
I saw the one that said, would how a small nuclear war would be good for the environment?
No, he's the one that's talking about that, like, is there a Yahtzee issue in the Ukraine? And then it's like a thread where everyone puts their evidence in the thread. And then he's like, I guess there is an issue that we should be addressing, but the West is refusing to address and actually backing. So that's a problem.
Well, there was and it's hilarious. I was doing recording an audiobook recently, and the director at one point was like, and Putin told those poor people that there were Nazis in Ukraine. And I didn't say anything. I said, there literally are.
Yes. Literally.
Yes, there literally are.
Not the fake Nazis around every corner here in the United States. Real Nazis with Nazi tattoos and bracelets and rings, flying a flag going, hey, we're Nazis.
Like one of the commanders of the Ukraine army that has a diamond bracelet with it on.
One of them got a prize from Jon Stewart, who shook his hand, and he had to wear a sleeve to cover his Nazi tattoos, so Jon Stewart doesn't know who he is, but he got a award from Jon Stewart in Disney World and paid for by the United States for them to travel there.
Did you see that clip of Stephen King where he got prank called by someone pretending to be Zelensky? And
yes.
Oh, that's great.
Oh, it was so, like, first of all, I mean, just the voice alone of the person that called him, he was speaking like this, and it was so over the top, and I was like, how can you not know?
So over the top.
Because you're Stephen King, Clifton. That's why. Because you're Stephen King.
But so the prankster was talking about dropping names of people who have actually committed really horrible things, and Stephen King is just like, well, it's I think he's an honorable man, and like they're so in this bubble of this. It's only good and bad. It's only black and white. For people who complain about the binary all the time, they certainly see a lot of geopolitical issues and other political issues in strictly binary terms. It's all good on one side, all evil on another. It's crazy watching people's brains just completely cease all kind of functioning right now.
Because the internet has such a binary, has such a binary attitude to it. Like if you say something's going wrong here, oh, you're pro-Russia. No, it doesn't make me pro-Russia because I can criticize an aspect of something, just like I can criticize an aspect of America or the UK or wherever it may be. But the internet's so goddamn binary. Oh, I like the color red. Why do you fucking hate blue?
Yeah.
No, I'm not saying I hate blue. I'm just saying that I like red. Well, what's wrong with blue then? Why can't you say I like red and blue? the internet just gets so like that. It's ridiculous to have, and particularly on Twitter. You can't have a nuanced conversation on Twitter.
No.
And then the places that you want to have a conversation about it are just like, sorry, we don't want to discuss about that. And so it just gets worse and worse.
Nuance is a bot detector. Okay.
Yeah.
There it is.
It doesn't understand it. So
it's like, man, the weather's so nice today. You want trans people to die.
The fuck? Climate change denier.
Yes, but then you'll get somebody who underneath that posts some ridiculous fucking article about how UV affects trans people more than heterosexual people, and they'll be going, see, they'd be like, oh my
You
god,
want everyone to die. It's like that's what's happening with Elon Musk. It was like, isn't there a way we can peacefully figure a way out of this? And everyone's like, you love Putin, go fucking die. And it's like, dude, what the fuck? He just doesn't want nuclear war. I think we just all would rather not have nuclear war.
Well, I'm sure Mahler's enjoying all of this right now.
I'm just thinking about my post-apocalyptic games. Maybe they'll help me out now. All I've learned from them.
We should all invest in bunkers.
Yeah.
Like have a connection.
Get a fallout shelter in it.
Yeah.
I'm just buying all the tin food.
Mm-hmm.
Just don't call it 76.
Well, that's basically any survival game out there. Perishables are bad, folks. Perishables are bad.
Fallout taught me a lot.
Stock up on water.
Yeah. Or water purification techniques.
Wait, what are you talking about? Drinking water? What do you hate, women? What are you doing? Drinking water.
Right.
When you say purifying water, are you racist?
Are you saying white supremacy?
Yeah, purify. Oh my. So you saying black people can't drink water?
You mean like
I don't know
Aryan water?
Who's drank water and survived? So I don't know. Just saying.
Hey, Nina's an Aryan representative.
I am Aryan. So
Hitler did drink water. You're right.
Exactly. He died. Explain that.
Yeah.
Also breathe
if water's
air.
so good,
why did Hitler drink it?
Exactly.
There's a funny joke. A writer named Cole Porter. The story goes that he heard that Hitler shot himself in the head and or blew his brains out or whatever, and Cole Porter goes, "Huh, must have been a damn good shot."
Hey!
Ew.
Wow, in this comic book show, let's talk about a couple of comics, shall we?
Yeah.
We got some news that came yesterday, I think, maybe even the day before, that a comic has been cancelled. Now, I can't believe this is the case because it is the stunning and brave gay Superman, which has been cancelled.
So gay.
The comic, which I was going to say Tom King for a second, might as well have been, Tom Taylor said was such a great seller because of the issue where they first kissed, and of course it was bought as a speculative piece. That's what people speculate. Sorry,
like Watchmen season 1 and Sandman season 1, they were so popular and good. They're done. They just done.
They were so good. They got cancelled.
It got canceled.
They were too good. You're too good for this world.
Too good for this world and the fans. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah. So unbelievably, it's gonna end with issue 18. It didn't even make it to 20 issues.
Halfway through the issue, it just stops.
It just stopped.
They're like, now we're
pencils
done.
down. Just pencils down. It's just you've wasted enough.
What does your boy Zach say? I quit my job in the middle of the week in the afternoon. I cried.
Yeah. Carrying a box full of my belongings.
Wasn't fired. Totally quit, man. Just totally
quit.
On my own volition.
So yeah, I mean, with amazing things like Superman holding signs, go strike for climate change. Oh my god!
Is this the one that he had a mask on too?
And
yes.
Didn't you point out in your video correctly as that he's like 17, right?
He's 17, yes.
Yeah, he's still a minor. I mean, it's never, but like they aged him up because he used to be 13.
Well, yes, he was 13, aged up to 17, so that they could still put him in a gay relationship as a minor.
There's Aquaman.
There's also a sign that says there's no planet B. There is. There's planet B, C, D, E, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L. Well, it's actually Earth 1, Earth 2, Earth 3, Earth 4, Earth.
Multiverses suck.
Yes. So, multiverses do suck. Maybe this kid is actually based as fuck and it's just like, please no multiverses. So there's no. That's what I think. Then maybe he's based and he's just like, because this one looks like they're actually dressed semi-normally, but they'll probably turn out to be.
They're actually about that though. That like we don't have a second planet, so we can't ruin this one. It's like even if we did have 2 planets, why would you want to ruin one? No logic, you know what I mean? Like it's like they're saying like if we had a second one, sure you could ruin it. It's like what?
Yeah, disposable. Well, DC Comics are disposable. Wouldn't even wipe my ass with this shit.
Well, you're supposed to wipe shit from your. Never mind.
Well, it's. Well, I wouldn't wipe shit with shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that makes sense. That follows.
Breaking news. Don't want sexy Thelma. Don't want sexy Thelma with the little peeky boo. And the my lordy. Who's that? Can you text me who that is, please?
No, don't fake it. Don't fake the funk ass. We know now.
Toad's doing this for effect. No, I'm into the Blair Whites.
You're just into it because their last name is White.
Yeah. Yeah, I got an image to keep up.
How many trans individuals were murdered by the posting of this meme? That's my question.
I think all of them. I think it's genocide. It's trans genocide going on right now.
Terrible.
Jeepers.
But it's so fascinating. I'm thinking of I'm looking at all these properties that are going wrong all at the same time. It's kind of a reference to what I was talking about before. And this book's getting canceled. We're looking at the reception to She-Hulk and Rings of Power, Thor: Love and Thunder, all these properties at the same time. And I'm very curious to see what's going to happen with Black Panther next month. I made a joke that all the promotional material is like, oh, finally we got a sequel to Waiting to Exhale. It's all
that was so good.
it's all women, and I'm just like, okay, I get what you're doing, but
it's MCU. It's the last. Yeah, it's straight up MCU.
Well, but even the first, I thought the first Black Panther film was, it was more about the female characters than it was about the Black Panther himself.
Well, he got carried around. Yeah,
he was so much better in Civil War. They ruined his own film.
Dude. I mean, I know you know this, Mahler, but he was so effective in that movie, but he was only in it for like 10 minutes. They gave him an entire arc. They gave him an origin story. He had a through line. It was so powerful. And what Chad did as an actor is so wonderful because it was so understated and just very, very, very just dignified, and there was a quiet strength about what he did. And
the living are not done with you yet.
Exactly. It was just it was so wonderful to watch that character be introduced in that way, and he was so ferocious and but also just a great presence and a strong character. And then in the film itself, I don't know, man. I didn't follow it. And it's weird because like Ryan Coogler, Fruitvale Station is amazing. The Creed films are very popular. He's a wonderful filmmaker and storyteller. But so the film just the first Black Panther film just didn't really hit for me. I'm glad it made the money that it did, but it's, I don't know. I don't know how this one's going to turn out. But what I was going to say is that they keep parroting or parading, I should say, all of these racial minorities, sexual minorities, women, in front of the public in these mediocre or bad projects, and the projects bomb. And then it's really difficult to read. I think people sometimes forget that, if you're a performer, your face is out there and you see people saying awful things about you, it really can have an effect. But on top of that, if you're in flops, it damages your career. So basically, all these minorities, all these, people now are basically cannon fodder in the culture war. And they're being paraded out and put in front of all of us and waved around and then just chucked aside. You know, once the virtue, the requisite amount of virtue is signaled, and it's kind of it's gross to watch. It's gross. It's racist and sexist.
It is. It's just to own the other side. They are using people's identities and their skin color and religion to own their enemies. That's it. And what's the access media has been driving a lot of this. Corporatism is just corporatism. It's stupid. And I don't like it. And I don't think it'll ever work for art. We've seen it just destroy so many industries that started out with, like, you know, Frank Zappa says it famously, like, the music industry was better when there was just some old guy chomping on a cigar, you know, sees something weird and he goes, let's try it. And if it makes money, he's like, good, it makes money. Let's do some more of that. You know, that's it. It's not going through marketing research and all this other shit. And now it's all risk averse and ESG. And I think we should totally play that CG Product Red video later as where they lay out ESG for all the people who don't think it exists. Oh, really?
CD Projekt Red literally created a video telling you how their company's going to fail.
And it's,
wow, I didn't see it.
It's a Polish company, right?
Should we play now?
Yes.
I'll find it now. Because Gay Superman's gone. And also, Robin, they just started a brand new Robin comic. The artwork, the writing, are dog shit. It's embarrassing to actually see. And there's somebody who's loved Tim Drake for 30 years. And that's because stalwarts like Chuck Dixon wrote him for so long and really created such a fleshed out character with Tim Drake. And then you just see him now in the hands of these vandals who clearly know nothing. And I think the writer of the comics is like, I'm such a Tim Drake fan. And she, I fucking doubt she's read a Tim Drake comic in her life, by the way, that she started off the series. And the artwork, well, that looks like somebody took a Tumblr reject and cut one of their hands off and then told them to draw with that. It's absolutely abysmal. I'll pull some of that earlier. Let's let me find the CD Projekt Red video.
Yeah. So to think this isn't going on in every aspect of our entertainment, which it is. Shit, I left my tape downstairs. But yeah.
What you're saying about actors turning up in flops can really damage their stuff. It's like when Matt Smith went from Doctor Who to doing like movie roles. He had Terminator Genesis, which is embarrassing and terrible. Yep. He wasn't really in it, but still. Obviously Morbius hasn't exactly helped him out, and it's just like, well, what's going on? What's going to make it work? And it might actually be House of the Dragon that lets people finally see Matt Smith, and he'll have something that might push him much further forward now.
I hope so.
A lot of people got eyes on Daemon Targaryen.
Okay, I've got it. Get your laughing gear around this. Jeez. I couldn't believe what I was watching.
Yeah, I Razorfist tweeted it out like 3 or 4 days ago.
So this is new?
This is out just a few days ago.
What does ESG stand for?
Environmental Social Governance. It is a
My
credit
name is
score.
Sorry.
It's like a credit score for corporations.
A social justice credit score.
Look at the t-shirt. Open world, trans, pride.
Well, it's right up your alley, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now I have no fucking hope for Witcher.
I'm usually up the alley. Don't worry. It's all right, Clifton. It's the thing. Don't worry about it. It's cool.
Lubavitch. I'm a member of the board and CFO at CD Projekt. I'm also personally involved in a range of environmental, social, and governance initiatives, ESG for short, and I'm responsible for CD Projekt Group's reporting in this matter. I would like to present our strategic approach to ESG issues in the context of our business. This approach reflects our identity and our values. It also takes into consideration the interests of our stakeholders identified in a relevance survey, which we carried out for the first time in 2021.
Can I say something?
The survey produced a list of...
Sure.
Can their identity be like making games? Like, I don't understand why all these corporations that like this is a gaming company. Why can't your identity be just making games?
What happened was the powers that be, whoever they are, have found a way to backdoor capitalism and investment well, it's not even capitalism anymore. It's like this weird, and backdooring CRT and collectivism into big corporations, fusing government and corporations, which is a type of fascism. Like this is what's actually happening right now. And they want us to like not own anything. They've come out and said it. It's like, I mean, it's not a fucking joke.
You will own nothing and you'll be happy.
They want everything to be a subscription service. They want you to rent your apartment. You can rent, eventually you'll be able to like have a subscription service to a grocery store where you pay them a certain amount and you can like get certain amounts of food. Of course, they'll ding you a little bit and it'll all be electronically paid. You'll have an electronic card that they can fucking shut off whenever they want. That can only go certain of it. Like this isn't a fucking joke. Like,
well, and also, I mean, I think that people might listen to what we're saying and saying, "Oh, you're being paranoid" or whatever. No, we're taking it. I think we're speaking in the context of if everything is digitally controlled, everything is digital. First of all, I mean, just if they're talking about digital currency right now, and I'm thinking to myself, if I can't hold it in my hand, is it really mine? They can do whatever they want electronically and take money out of it. Right? Yeah, well, PayPal, and it's also this the aspect of, do you really want to give a massive corporation and or the government all this control? Because sure, it might be nice now, it's convenient now, but what's to stop them from pursuing their own self-interest and expanding their power in the name of the greater good, so to speak? I don't want to
which they've already
the
done.
C word here.
Yeah.
But it's just it's not necessarily a bad thing to be concerned about this and to completely reject it. I do hope that the more digital that we go, there's going to be a correspondent rise of people who are saying, no, let's keep it organic, let's keep it analog.
Let's go analog.
Physical media. Let's get back in person.
Yeah, how this relates to
all kinds of currencies.
Media. There was a post recently. I can't remember which account I saw it on, but it was like a guy who had some show on some sort of provider has been like kicked off for whatever reason, but the guy a guy had bought it like outright, and he couldn't access it because it was a digital library thing. It's just like, no, you don't have this anymore. And the post was about how piracy is the way to go, sort of thing. But I was just thinking to myself, like, oh man, it's going to get to the point where the only physical thing you can even buy is just a code to get the thing digitally. Like that'll be the next phase, and then it'll be gone. Cherish physical media because it's going, it's on its way out, and it's really hard to save it. I've already started trying to buy all of my favorite things, like DVD, the Blu-rays and stuff. Just get them all, as Clifton said, something you can hold in your hand because no one can take it away from you then. But I hate the idea of everything I want to see and everything I want to enjoy is all on a thing that someone else can just go, nah, not today.
And if you don't know about PayPal, a couple of days ago, they released, I think it was a tweet, could have been an email as well, but they released a tweet, I think it was at least, saying that
Daily Wire.
they would have the right to fine you $2,500 for misinformation, whatever misinformation means. And then that got so hit by people that they retracted it almost immediately, saying, oh, this was never meant to come out. This was never meant to sound the way it sounded. Bullshit. They put out what they put out, and they got the response that they got. So
they got busted.
That, folks, is a test, certainly a test for the future, because if everything is electronic, then what prevents your bank from saying, due to wrongthink, we're cutting off your bank account? Due to wrongthink, we're cutting off your food supply. We're cutting off your access to transport. Well, they tried to, but they ended up relinquishing to the truckers in the end.
But they tried. They cut off their bank accounts for several weeks. Like it was a thing.
Banks limiting what people can spend of their own money on their card, right?
And look at Ripper. Ripper had in PayPal as well. Even though he had produced a product and the product was going out, and he's had to deal all kinds of faff to get his money, not PayPal's money, his money that was given by his customers for his product. So Electronic can get real fucky, and they are trying it on. They are trying to see what they can get away with right now, and it doesn't matter if they have to back speak or anything like that, because it's testing the waters, and it's testing the waters for what they can do. Sorry, Clifton, go on.
No, it's cool, man. And on top of that, I've noticed now. I mean, they've been doing it for the climate issue recently. They will couch anything in terms of social justice, racial justice, to get people on board. Oh, this is good not only for the planet but also for we're for equity's sake. So they'll any sort of quote unquote progressive slash social justice currency, so to speak. They're gonna try to do it and throw it in there just because people are gonna be like, oh well, it's good for black people, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'll support that, yeah. And they can't. They're not looking at the broader picture of these kinds of things.
They're not, and I just like to point out that we paused at 38 seconds. That just happens to be really funny to me.
You hear that energy just kind of got sucked out of the room after that.
Every time a girl talks, I know.
Wow.
They used to have law preventing this, but
I know.
Excuse me, Gary. There's two girls here.
Oh, every time girls talk.
Yeah, Gary, God.
Sorry.
You're murdering people. You've killed me.
Let's see how CD Projekt Red is going to go out of business.
Yeah.
When you said that, in my head I pictured SEEDY, CD Projekt Red.
Ah.
Ooh. Well, he says it so quickly because he goes CD Projekt.
Regarded as important for CD Projekt. Our approach to these topics and the way we go about managing them have since been described in our first sustainability report covering the year 2021. And now, let's begin with our products.
Sound effects.
Although this is perhaps not the first thing that comes to mind when thinking about video games and ESG, we believe that our primary means of influencing the world at large is by developing games which can enrich gamers' perceptions.
Influence.
This is why we do not...
Influence. We are trying to influence gamers and enrich their perspective.
We're trying to improve them.
Perception.
We're trying to improve people playing our games. That's what they're saying.
Yeah.
To bring them into the hive mind, our collective hive mind, to make them like us and see like us.
Silly, dumb gamers. You need to think on a higher level like we do. So we'll help you there. Like you're
get on our level.
I got a question. How do you think this guy would cope in a Modern Warfare 2 lobby?
Ooh,
not very well.
Not PTSD.
As that's where men were created.
Do you think he'd cry? That's what I'm going to say. Do you think he'd cry?
Yes, I would. Yes, I do.
Shy away from confronting socially important topics in this.
By the way, this was a massive flop. Cyberpunk 2077. The only reason why it's getting a renaissance right now is because of edge runners. That's the only reason. But this was a huge flop.
Stories we tell. Our games depict social inequalities, the various paths people take through life, and the problems they face. We want to make sure that the characters populating the worlds we create represent a diverse set of mindsets, social groups, and backgrounds. In The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, we tackled the issue of domestic violence, strained family relationships, and discrimination. Cyberpunk 2077, on the other hand,
come on, I mean, domestic violence, like those are human issues. Like that could go with any story. That's not a political thing.
It's not
that's it. Sorry, it's so stupid.
Also, there is a point of view out there that there are people who are pro domestic violence and pro racism and pro genocide, and the other side thinks they are allies and superheroes by changing, by putting a Ukrainian flag on their bio. Like, I was a hero today.
Also, the Witcher games were based on books that were like from another time. They're not tackling fucking issues.
The games were not. The games just used the characters and they created their own unique stories.
Yeah,
But
the
it's
book-
based
they-
on that
they would-
universe, though.
Yeah, they would refer back to the, they would there'd be references,
The
but that
book-
was most of the references was just the Wild Hunt and
Yeah.
the way that
the
Yennefer and
the
Geralt were
characters
separated.
and
The
stuff.
books
Yeah.
have the girl who's the key to everything. It's totally there. But I mean, if you read the books, the guy, I can't pronounce his name, the guy who wrote them is like thirsty for women. It's not like it's like her supple breasts and I felt her nipples hard. It's like a guy who wanted to get laid.
Yeah.
Dude, it wasn't like some feminist dribble.
It's good stuff.
He's a guy who probably didn't bang a lot of women who wanted to bang some women. That's human.
Sapowski, that's it. Yeah, Sapowski. Yeah. But yeah, Clifton, as you said, like domestic violence, it's a social issue,
right?
But it's a human issue. It's not like a social justice issue, which is what they're actually delving in. So I think they're trying to blur the line
Exactly.
between social justice and just societal, which is
Right, I was reading the chat.
what we see. It's all right.
Somebody said Azro the Witcher.
Thought it was gonna be Ryan Kinnell.
That is mean.
You
stuff.
betcha. No, that's good.
Was married 2 times. Hey, that doesn't mean the guy's getting laid, chat. Okay? You can be married, doesn't mean the guy's getting laid. All right?
You can be gay and married.
Don't confuse those two things, please. Yeah. As a person,
social justice and social issues are very different things altogether.
Yeah.
It's very true.
It's like as though they have some unique perspective on, we're the people who are going to address these issues. I'm like, dude, there's novels that are hundreds of years old that have this kind of stuff in there. You can go back to there's a what's the play called? Hippolytus. That whole story. I mean, that's a story where you have the main character who is he dies as a result of a false assault allegation from his stepmother who was in love with him. So we're talking about this is thousands of years ago. We're already having these kinds of like interpersonal kind of edgy issues that are being written about. These people are doing nothing new, but they're acting as though like we're tackling the issues. We want to enrich the
saving
culture.
lives.
I'm like, get the fuck out of here, man. I want to play a game. I want to immerse myself in this world and just like have a good time. And sure, tell me a great story that's really human and has all the goods and the good things and the bad things about who we are as people, and we want complex characters and all that kind of stuff. But it's not. Don't act like you're some sort of crusader for justice just because you're tackling shit that people have been tackling for thousands of years because people have not changed in thousands of years. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, he talks about discrimination, and yes, the elves in The Witcher are used as a minority in a group that is discriminated against. But discrimination comes in a plethora of different forms. So having the analogy of discrimination could be referenced to anything. It could be referenced to your height, your weight, your color, your gender. It could be anything that you as yourself interpret and can fit in just as something that you could relate to. So they didn't do, elves are this race or that race and the humans. No, they didn't do that at all. They just took something, again, which was very human, which was discrimination, and put it into the elves, put the elves as the discriminated against groups, but the elves weren't, the elves in there weren't even perfect anyway. So they didn't use the elves as some sort of perfect group of people. No, they were in a minority in this world, and they were hunted down, but the elves did their fair share of shittery as well. And so there was a little bit of a blur there, and you made decisions in The Witcher 2 particularly, and The Witcher 3, based off whether or not you wanted to help the Scoia'tael or not. So that was a decision that you made, that they put into the game, and that's what makes it more interesting, is allowing you to play with that universe and make that decision based off however you see the circumstance or the situation, or even on a repeat playthrough. Just, I want to see the other side of that story. So yeah, this isn't anything grand.
I think the only actual thing that they did for The Witcher especially was to put gingers, like a ginger in the game. And I think gingercide is real. So I think that's the only issue they actually tackled that was relevant.
Gingercide is real. Just because they don't have souls doesn't mean they don't deserve to live. Come on, people.
Yeah, Dragon Age did the same. Dragon Age used elves
Yeah.
as a group of people that was discriminated, a race that's discriminating.
Nice
It's nothing
use.
new. It's not. Yeah, that's. Let's see some more shit, shall we? But this is this is what I would call prime virtue signaling right there.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to elevate what is just human. Humans, you know. Never mind. Goddamn fucking idiots. Come on, stupid thing. Might have to hold on. Just reset
it. Well, and just keep in mind that this is happening with every one of our entertainment properties. So for the last 4 years, when you're like, something's different. Like, I know Hollywood has been mostly left, but I know they also like to make money. So, like, why are they trying to social engineer through stories now instead of, like, you know, throwing in a message here and there? They're like, there's difference between I'm going to throw in a message and then social engineer. There's a big difference. And now that is so blurred. Now, every time somebody sees a message, it feels like social engineering because it is. I mean, he uses the words. We're here to influence.
Influence, yeah.
Not entertain. The word entertain did not come out of his mouth before influence. So that little thing you found off for the last 4 years was this. It's always been this. You were right. You're not crazy.
Discrimination. Cyberpunk 2077, on the other hand, addresses alienation and dehumanization of society. Our products reach millions of people around the world, so we want to focus on what's important. And
hold on. Well, it's the ESG, which is dehumanizing society.
Yeah, it is.
Because you're trying to get them to conform.
And what did it take to get everybody to watch Edge Runners? Anime titties.
Anime titties, yeah.
Anime
titties and anime bush.
Which by the way, unites everybody. But that unites it. That brings people together in peace. Anime,
especially if they're tranime titties.
Oh, well. Got him.
I just got 6 more months of this shit.
Easily.
And then it might diminish. Maybe. Who knows?
Oh no.
Ladies and gentlemen, Clifton Duncan.
Knows.
She's beautiful.
Now, let's listen to the video, people. Let's not.
Gamers to reflect upon the choices that surround them. The second important aspect relates to our team. We strive to ensure that we are a company people love working with. We give our team members the opportunity to engage in ambitious projects and pursue unique career development paths.
As long as it conforms to the ESG.
Yeah. I mean, there's nothing wrong. That's fine. Team building is great. Like volleyball games, softball teams, good stuff. Yeah.
This involves a range of.
It is adult daycare. I mean, like, there's a point where you're team building, and then, like, holy shit! Oh my god, It's a Gundam's got the best, I guess, series of videos on adult daycare now.
I gotta watch
from those TikToks.
Big difference
I
between.
got up this morning and I picked up my chai latte, and then I went into the foyer, and they had this beautiful orange water just like waiting for us, and some hot towels so I can start my. I fucking lost my shit when I saw that fucking video.
Dude, where I went to work, we had shit coffee, and that's it. And we got to use the bathroom. It was awesome.
That's a privilege.
Yeah,
I was fine with it, and we had a softball team on the weekend.
When Klaus takes over, you'll piss where you fucking work, mate.
Oh yeah, they'll just have a little piss bag that they hook up to you. A little piss bag. Yeah. Well, don't they have that in Amazon already? Because they had to pay for Rings of Power, so people are actually pooping in bags. Yeah.
Not seeing a lot of diversity in this picture. I'm just saying.
Well, it's in Poland, dude.
I know.
Come on now.
You saying Poland is a racism?
Yeah, it's a racism. Yes, it is.
Internal training courses, as well as our brainchild, the Promised Land Art Festival, whose 4th edition was held.
Promised Land, that's woo.
Yeah, that's
Ooh, easy now.
It's a big commie-looking factory.
Yeah, look at it.
Oh my God, you're right.
Art. Like there needs to be a fist going up, right? Yeah, that's subtle.
That's some Big Brother
Really
shit right
fucking
there.
subtle. Yeah.
Holy.
Well, this year, the festival provides a unique opportunity for motion picture, gaming, and other creative industry professionals who represent various companies, nationalities, and market segments to get to know one another and swap ideas and learnings. In addition, our team members regularly share their experience and knowledge at local and international gaming events. Together, we create a diverse and inclusive work environment of which we are.
He hit the words. He hit the two words, inclusive and diverse.
By the way, I like how he said nationalities, and then they showed the one Asian guy going like this.
I know, right?
So funny.
I was thinking there's an awful lot of crackers around here.
And yeah, dude.
Oof.
Have they said the word entertain?
No.
I don't know.
Maybe they have and I missed it, but you tell me, chat.
Yeah, chat, have they? I can't recall unless it was when he's No, I don't think so.
We are very proud. In pursuing highly complex creative projects, we recognize the need to ensure a friendly and comfortable work environment. From 2022 onward, this applies to both the team members who work mainly from our offices, as well as those who opt to work in the remote-first mode. The launch of Cyberpunk 2077 and the course of the pandemic have taught us a lot. We drew conclusions and rolled out a wide array of changes. We intend to continue to further improve our company. Thirdly, our corporate premises and environment. 3 years ago, we purchased a property complex which houses our headquarters and began work on creating a green campus. These changes are being progressively implemented. They involve combining elements of the existing layout with expanded green areas and novel technologies aimed at reducing our emissions and
Do they not use power? I'm betting they use electricity, right? Like lots and lots of electricity. Okay, just wanted to get that.
No, they have natural treadmills that they'll run on to make
Do
sure
they run on treadmills that power their servers or whatever?
I don't know when he's talking about green if he's literally just talking about we put a few plants here and there.
Yeah,
all the plants were dead.
The plants run on the treadmills.
They were dead. I was like, what green is he talking about?
Look very green. I know.
But they had those skips full of like soil, and then they had a dead tree in it.
Maybe it was winter time. I guess it gets kind of cold over there. So
yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Sure.
They're talking. Somebody said Soylent Green in the chat. Yeah, that's what they're
Soylent Green.
talking
Yes,
about.
yes. I think they eat the employees.
In late August, we adopted an environmental policy which represents our pledge to roll out and then progressively improve our environmental management system. This year, for the first time ever, we calculated our carbon footprint, and we are also working on a broader calculation covering our entire value chain. The next step will be to develop an
Solar
emission
panels. I
reduction
called
program
it.
with
I
a
called it. I knew it.
That it?
That's it. Solar panels. I mean, which is great if you can afford them. Like really fucking expensive things, by the way. Really, really expensive. Not affordable to your average Joe.
Should get some nuclear power going.
Yeah, I think if they had nuclear, now we're talking. If they had a little nuclear reactor in there.
Nuclear power. What are you, racist?
God, you love
And
Putin.
misogynist. Don't forget misogynist, please.
Putin lover.
Putin
view
apologist.
towards achieving carbon neutrality. And the next important thing, our values and corporate governance.
Uh-huh.
By the way, did you notice that he said we're tracking our carbon footprint? Not going to say what it is, or anything, but we're tracking it. We're tracking it.
Keep it track.
Our business.
Is there like an Apple Watch that does that now or
It does.
something?
It counts how many times you fart each day.
Oh shit! I just did that. I just muted my microphone and let rip.
Well,
As just reads error.
Yeah.
Well, Gary, I must inform you that women don't fart. So
That's true.
Oh, okay.
I will never have that
They
issue.
don't poop either. Yeah, they
Yeah,
don't
we
fart or
don't.
poop. Yeah.
We don't.
My watch just says move, you lazy fuck.
The food that they eat just like magically goes away.
It's true.
Yes.
We're
The
magic.
solar power took it.
Not necessarily adopting schematic approaches. At the same time, we make sure we are compliant with regulations and, first and foremost, transparent.
Can you tell us what your fucking games are?
Yeah. I can't wait to go back into the room for Witcher 3 and look for the ESG of ass crack. Okay. Like, I'm so scared of
You got an
ass
ESG meter and you go to
Now we know what the new what was the card game called in Witcher 3?
Gwent.
Gwent, yeah. Now we know what the new Gwent game is going to be like. The fucking social credit score.
The cards are going to be leaves so that they don't create paper cards anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it'll just be people, just recycle people. Because California decided that like you can recycle people now into their what is it, their mulch? No, like their fertilizer.
Oh, yeah, that's right. And they're letting them bury them in their backyard now, right? Yeah,
Yep.
I read about that. It started in Washington.
Yep. Well, fucking hippies, man.
Mm-hmm.
You could bury grandma in the backyard.
Yeah.
San Andreas fault. San Andreas fault.
Can I just say at this moment that I really don't regret our decision to leave California at all. For a second. I've never lost a second of sleep. I've never gone, wow, I miss the smell of urine on a dead guy while another guy is jerking himself off.
Oh, God.
God, I miss that.
Bro, I remember I was doing a show in San Francisco. This was probably 2012 or so. It was already bad back then, but it was a 2-show day. I think it was a Saturday. We did the first show, and I'm in a restaurant. It's like there's some burger shop or whatever. It's off of Market and something else. So it's Market Street. So already.
Yeah,
it's gonna be a little nuts, and literally. But I'm sitting there. I'm eating my burger. I look up and I see this dude kind of walk up between these 2 parked cars on the street. He looks left. He looks to the right. Just drops trowel and just starts pissing right there. But you walk Market Street. You walk the adjacent blocks. There's syringes on the ground, used condoms, trash, people trying to sell you all kinds of drugs. It's the seediest kind of thing. But then a block over, these like beautiful architecture, beautiful buildings. And it's so weird. But I feel the same way about New York, man. I see, they keep electing stupid people and doing stupid policies. I mean, it's sort of a digression, but did you see the other day, Eric Adams, the mayor, who somehow was worse than the last mayor, was like, we didn't ask for this to take care of all of these migrants or whatever. I'm like, dude, you literally said you're a sanctuary city, but now you don't want it. It's hilarious. They're so ridiculous.
Wow. No, Abbott finally did something that was worth a shit, which I'm still voting. Like, I'm not voting for Beto. Fuck that dude. Monkeypox boy. I think it's a great idea to ship them. Like, you're still bringing them in. You can't stop them from being here, and at least you still want to be humane to humans, right? Put them in the cities that are most prepared to take care of them. Because they give homeless people cash. San Francisco's been giving homeless people cash forever, and that's why people go to San Francisco, because they can get $400 a month. And get their and like fentanyl's like all over the place. And you're not kidding, Clifton. You'll be in a nice neighborhood, like not far from Nancy Pelosi's house. Mm-hmm. And then you keep walking down a couple of blocks and you're in like, you could get shot easily. Like the Fillmore. I used to live in the Fillmore, dude.
Gary, do they have those centers in San Francisco and San Diego where like basically like the drug centers? Like,
yes.
And it's free?
There are a bunch of private houses that really try to get people off drugs. There's a bunch of them. Those are good. But then there's a bunch of places that just hand out syringes. And that's the dumb fucking, usually based in Marin hippies who fund most of the shit. And like, the Fillmore, my third night living there, I'm on the balconies back when I smoking a cigarette with Melissa, and a car drives by and it's skidding. It's all, and there's a girl hanging outside the window screaming for her life. I'm like, what the fuck?
Oh my
What did I
God.
get myself into? That was my third night there. First night there, our apartment in the Fillmore got hot prowled. We were all asleep. There was two very young toddler kids. My friend was sleeping downstairs. Melissa and I were upstairs, and then the roommate, a Kimmy, and somebody used a credit card to get in their apartment and stole all our shit. I should have known then. I stayed for 18 years. Yeah,
you'll be walking with your with your family. You'll be in the public transit, on the BART station or whatever. People just sitting there shooting up heroin, just chilling. There was do you remember that clip where London Breed, the mayor, was like walking? It was like she'd just been elected or something. She's walking through, and literally on camera, you see people in the background shooting up heroin. It's just it's
London Breed. I mean, maybe not as dumb as the mayor of New York, but really fucking close. Like she's basically a file clerk. That is an up-jump file clerk who used to work for Ed Lee. Remember when Kamala Harris said in Florida, we're going to be equitable with the recovery. We're going to give it to basically give it to communities of color and first, just based on their skin color. Well, that's exactly what London Breed said about recovering from COVID. When they were going to reopen, like a year and a half later, they were going to reopen equitably. Yeah. They're going to favor businesses of color over everybody else. Yeah. So it's the same shit. It's the same shit.
That's what I was saying before. Like they'll justify everything, and they'll just it's equity, it's justice or whatever. They'll usher in any kind of ridiculous policy under this under the guise of the quote unquote greater good, quote unquote progressivism.
You're right. And that equity, by the way, was ignoring a lot of Asian in San Francisco. And you're right, Clifton, was ignoring a lot lot of Asian-owned businesses.
They hate Asian people. They hate Asian people more than any other minority. They're white when it's convenient. They're Asian when it's convenient. If I were Asian American, dude, I'd be like, why even support any of these people?
Is that
it was convenient when Shang-Chi was coming out? I'll tell you that for nothing. That's when it was convenient.
Is that a newer thing, like after COVID, or has that always been like that?
For what?
Like the Asian, like not liking the Asians so much.
Oh, that goes way back.
Okay. You see. I mean, I'm sure you've seen online all of these videos of these horrific crimes that are committed against Asian people, assaults, robberies, all kinds of things. Mm-hmm. And you see who is doing most of them. Yes. But we can't talk about that because of the demographics that are involved in doing so.
Well, you can talk about it, right?
Well, and speaking as a part of that demographic, it's part of it is just it's straight up envy. They view these people as soft targets. And it's hilarious. On 125th Street, right in the heart of Harlem, right, like a block away from the Apollo Theater, the nicest black hair store is run by Koreans. So people see that kind of stuff. They're like, they're moving into our neighborhoods, they're succeeding, yada yada yada, and they hate them. And they the stereotype is that they're nice and they're sort of obedient and like I said, soft targets, unless they're roof Koreans, obviously. But the broader point is that now they will refuse. They'll say hashtag stop Asian hate, but they'll stop at the point where it's like, oh,
they finished the tweet.
Well, who are the people who are attacking these people? So there's that aspect of it where they're throwing Asians under the bus. Then there's the educational system and merit-based programs where they're trying to eliminate or lower standards, eliminate testing standards for admissions for universities, and of course, who benefits the most from those? It's a lot of Asian kids, and frankly, I want to say African immigrants tend to benefit from those things as well. But so that they keep passing these policies. That's just the Asian Americans are just like, what the hell are you doing? Please help us. I thought you loved minorities or whatever.
I do a really good impression of somebody who lives in Martha's Vineyard. If you'd like to see it,
I would love it.
Love to.
I've got to get into character. Hold on.
Okay.
That's somebody from Martha's Vineyard who just saw an immigrant.
You know what? I thought you were going to do Barack Obama for a second. Now, I know
He can fit people. He can fit 1,000 people into his tent, but none of them are going to be immigrants, mate.
Now you know, and I know that I'm here on this island. I am the only brown person allowed in this entire zip code.
Me and my husband, Michael.
No.
Hey, yo. I was gonna say only men are allowed in that tent too, but
Oh yeah, I read the teleprompter wrong.
Let's listen to CD Projekt Red completely cut the throat off.
Open dialogue with our teams, responsible communication with gamers, and improving our ESG disclosures are the cornerstones of our strategy for building long-term, trust-based relationships. We also work
wait,
to
did you
ensure
say trans-based relationships?
Trust-based relationships. With whom are they creating trust-based relationships with?
Gotta say, they kind of ruined their trust a little bit with a certain event not long ago.
Oh yeah, didn't okay, help me, I'm not a gamer. Didn't they do something that they said they would never do when they were trying to rush out Cyberpunk?
They did a lot of shady shit.
They did, yeah, they did a lot.
They
of
did,
fucked
yeah.
up shit.
They
God,
didn't
what was it?
disclose how the PS4 version was.
What was it? Forcing workers to work extra hours or some
Crunch.
shit?
That's called the
Oh,
crunch.
yeah.
That's called
Crunch.
crunch.
Yeah. Did they say they were not ever going to do that? Did that, or was that another company I'm thinking of?
They all did that.
Well,
Crunch. Yeah.
I think the crunch was harder than they were saying it was going to be.
Okay.
And there was lots of kind of, fingers being waggled about the amount of crunch and how burnt out people were, and all this kind of stuff.
Well, everybody left. Like the main creator of The Witcher left.
Yeah.
They were like, "Fuck this!" Like they saw the writings on the wall when it came to CD Projekt, and they were like, "Okay, we're out on this one."
I think a lot of this has happened because the head of the studio left and he's got replaced, and when he got replaced, then all this shit has started to happen. The ESG shit and all the social justice shit, and yeah, that's one of the big reasons.
I used to work on the floor above Insomnia Games.
Yeah.
Technicolor and Insomniac. Yeah. It was pretty cool in there, but they were all on Adderall, so they didn't mind working extra. Just saying.
strong foundation for our business in the areas of IP protection, privacy, and cybersecurity. We constantly monitor and update our internal procedures and tools related to those aspects. Finally, we feel a broader sense of responsibility in terms of reacting to events around us. We care and we get actively involved in the face of extraordinary circumstances, such as the COVID pandemic or the war in Ukraine. We also intend to be socially active.
What?
Okay.
What?
Are you going to not give The Witcher 4 to Russians? Is that like what the
Yeah.
fuck?
Yeah. I'm going to stick them to them.
Like Big Chief, which does the Doctor Who toys.
Yeah.
They stopped shipping to Russia. They just stopped.
I'll do it.
That'll do it.
That's
okay,
just stop the nuclear war.
No Doctor Who toys for you. That'll stop a nuclear war.
No Doctor Who toys for you.
We don't fucking want them.
Are they
have a whole batch of Jodie Whittakers?
Yeah, the Jodie Whittaker one.
We can't even sell these 300 Jodie Whittakers for fuck's sake.
Can we drop a nuclear bomb on those? Just the Jodie Whittaker, just maybe a little tactical nuke
In
on
Minecraft.
Just a
In
grenade,
Minecraft.
little grenade. In Minecraft.
A tactical nuclear grenade. Jodie Whittaker toys.
What's a video game company talking about the fucking war in Ukraine? for?
I don't know. I mean, seriously.
Can we, like,
This is part of it. Is this shit has gone to their head? Like we are so important and influential right now that we can actually do good in the world instead of like we just made this rad game that everybody likes. That sure, Witcher's a ripoff.
Everyone in Russia just immediately installs a VPN. Done.
Yeah,
Done.
the only
Yeah.
time they talked about the game was to say like what kind of social issues they were tackling in the game.
Tackling domestic violence in
yeah,
the
like they haven't talked about anything like with
Violent.
regards to the games.
Well, it's also like, I mean, tackling. Is it? Are you trying to? I don't know. I mean, are you trying to make some statement about domestic violence, or are you? I don't know. Are you just trying to, or are you going to tell a story
Listen,
that
these
happens
guys
to
are
include
Eastern
that?
European. They tackle their wives all the time. It's
Oh,
it's
shit.
part of the fucking culture. They have to talk about it.
Well,
how you know that, Nina?
Say it. I'm not going to say it.
It's true. Like I've known
Montgomery.
Eastern European women that think that they're not loved if their husband doesn't beat them. It's a fact. There's a lot. It's part of their culture. Domestic violence is a big thing over there. So they have to tackle it.
Literally.
Literally. Yes.
I give my girl a backhand every Thursday night. Let her know I love her.
Yep.
I'm so. Why do I sound like Ice-T right now? Yeah, I moved overseas to find love and affection.
That's what this guy's saying. Like, he's probably, well, I don't know if he's married to a woman though. I'm pretty sure this guy's gay.
I mean, as far as the corporations are concerned, they're big and dumb. So they were sold on this big dumb thing that it was going to be the next wave to make money. Corporations are going to be more. They use the word sustainability. In other words, to carry these corporations into the future, they have to be more. They have to get into governing. The word governing. They have to socially engineer. They have to be nicer to their employees so they don't get unionized and stuff. But it goes way beyond that. It goes way beyond that. Like this guy just came out and said we are essentially socially engineering. We're going to try through our games. Like how well did that work for Cyberpunk? By the way, not very well. Not very well.
Before he said the war in Ukraine, didn't he mention COVID?
Yes.
And aren't Pfizer being absolutely dragged right now in whichever hearings are going on, that this was a vaccine in name only, that it wasn't preventative, even though we said it, stressed it was. All this fucking absolutely unbelievable shit, which, of course, people were talking about and got removed from platforms and censored and banned for saying this before.
Doctors
and they're talking about being responsible for COVID. So you're saying that you're just going to go along with what they've been saying, which is now falling apart as we speak. And this comes out, a few days ago?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Jeez. So you're just saying you're going to be whatever good little boys. We're just going to be complicit
part of
little
the
boys.
Cult members.
And you're starting to see like that. And you're right. The timing of this is so strange because the pendulum is clearly swinging.
Yeah.
Like this is so like just outdated at this point. And this shit is going to look so bad very soon. Yeah. Like I've been saying for years, people are going to look back on that Watchmen series. I brought it up before and go, holy shit, this thing is racist. They take an actual event from history, a horrible event, and they make it into a silly superhero villain story.
As soon
like
as
people were mesmerized by a bad guy for the racial lynching.
As soon as I heard about that series, I said, I'm not fucking watching this thing.
Yeah, me either.
But the thing about it is that then because I mean, this is back when I was still allowed to be in the entertainment industry before I got purged. I'd be around these people who were just like, yeah, did you see the new episode of Watchmen? Oh, it was so good. It was so good. Because it's just confirming their own worldviews and conforming to all their biases. And I'm like, dude, just do the fucking book. It's so good. You can do, it's HBO. You have all this money. You have all this high quality talent available. You could make this series, this adaptation of one of the, seminal graphic novels of all time, and they totally said no. We're gonna tell that we're gonna do this other thing. I'm like, just stop doing it. But there are people out there that love this stuff. They love it. I think it's vanishingly small, the kinds of people that it appealed to. But
you're right. It's appealing to. It is appealing to the echo chamber. It's appealing to these fucking Californians that live in this fucking area, and everyone just thinks the same, acts the same, does the same. At least the perception is from what they present forward from us. So yeah, they're just. It's amazing how we've seen certain. I'm not going to name names here, but how we've also seen certain content creators over the last few years who just a few years ago seemed perfectly normal, and now they just fucking feel mental. They just come across as completely mental because it's just they got the full download going, and then they just don't understand when they get kickback, and when they get kickback, then they just start ranting and raving, making videos about and all kinds of stuff. When you just start, and then they're just doing exactly what the corporations are doing, which is shitting on the customers, because you could easily stress that are saying, hey, I don't agree with you on this point. But that's where, again, it goes back to what we're discussing here about binary. It's so fucking binary. You either, we get to the fucking Bush line, and I'm not trying to be political with that, but we're trying to get to the Bush line of you're either with us or you're gangsters type of attitude.
Well,
and there's no room for nuance or discussion anymore.
No, and like it's like come to a head recently. That's what we've been talking about, like the Rings of Power. The showrunner, one of the showrunners, called the criticism patently evil in the Hollywood Reporter right before their penultimate episode in a series where they're struggling to capture an audience that they're going to have to keep for over 2.5 years before season 2 comes out. It's the biggest, most expensive disaster of all time, and they call their fucking critics patently evil.
Want a bunch of Satanists.
No, they called their customers, Gary. They called their customers patently evil.
Patently, yes, I said paying customers, patently evil, and fascist adjacent. Tolkien fans Tolkien's work attracts fascist adjacent. Hollywood Reporter said that, not the showrunners. The showrunners said patently evil.
They just called you evil.
Yeah, they just called you fucking evil.
All right, then have fun not working anymore.
Yeah, right on. Like
I'll just keep my evil ass money then. How about that?
Yep.
Spend it on
but that's the point. We've seen this. We've seen it with the viewing figures. Look, the Rings of Power dropped from number 1 to number 4 in the very next fucking week. So it showed how many fucking people checked out of that for a start. And then we see like the absolute disaster that She-Hulk is. The viewing figures, absolute what? Not even existent. And all you get, instead of them looking at themselves and addressing their product, why do that when you could just turn around and go, hey, customers, you're fucking evil, you're misogynist, you're sexist. How do you expect that to improve your work? Is it because you expect normal people to turn around when they get accused of this, and we said this time and again, and be like, hey, I'm not sexist, I'm not racist, I'm not fascist adjacent, I'm not patently evil. No. Don't group me in. I suddenly like the show. No, nobody's going to be like that. More and more normal people are going, what the fuck are these people saying?
Yeah.
What are they doing? It's a TV show about Tolkien. This doesn't feel like Lord of the Rings to me. And even normies are saying this doesn't feel like, But so you're calling suddenly me all these words? Get out of it. And like Clifton just said, I'll take my money elsewhere, which is what I've done. I've taken my money and put it into different things. Used to go into comics. I had a huge pull list. My pull list is 0.
Yep.
It's been 0 for about 18 months. Same with Gary. Oh, sorry. No, my pull list was 1, which was Isom, which I got from fucking, which was all ready to ship. We were literally just doing a pre-order campaign. But I had a pull list, a huge pull list. All the Batman books, all the Superman books.
How much were you
Green
spending?
Arrow, Green Lantern.
How much were you
you'd easily dump between £100 and £200 easy.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when it was decent against the dollar.
Right. Yeah, I was dropping like $300-400 a month.
But you add on to that merchandise, you add on to that all those kind of elements as well. Oh, look at this new Batman statue, black and white statue that came out. Oh, this is the Sean Gordon Murphy one, or this is the Jim Aparo one, or this is the Todd McFarlane one. You know, oh, I gotta get me that. And all it adds, it's add plus, it's plus, it's plus, it's plus. And now with comics,
I'm not even gonna get that Silvestri Batman. And that's hard to resist, but I'm not doing it.
Silvestri one.
It's Mark Silvestri is one of my favorite artists ever. I'm not gonna do it. Like I'm done. Like not one penny goes towards the big two ever again. Like ever. I'm done. After 4+ decades of collecting, selling that shit, backing them, being a believer, they clearly said they don't want me around anymore. So I'm done. I don't give a fuck who comes back. I don't care if Todd McFarlane fucking takes over DC. I don't give a shit. As long as they have to like fire fucking everybody. Tom Taylor still works there, right? Still works there. Little fucker.
Superboy is coming back next year.
The same
in
way.
A 6-issue miniseries, Gary.
I have been.
It's a mini-series.
I know. It's you know what? It's we gave you this so you won't bitch that hard that we canceled it. But there's plenty of old comics that I haven't read that I can spend the rest of my life collecting.
Absolutely.
And I know they're going to be good. If something new comes out and it's consistent, great. I'll pick it up. That's fine. But
it's a whole new world for me. I'm going to just read the old stuff.
I'm sort of looking at maybe starting to do runs of first of all, older Superman. The second of all, older Spider-Man.
Yeah. One's a little more expensive than the other.
Yes. One is very affordable. The other, not so much.
Oh, dude, I got I showed you that collection I got of Superman for a song. And I know. A ton of books. Spider-Man, I'm glad I collected those a long time ago. It's fucking expensive now, man. But yeah, no, like this is how you do it. If you're gonna do the new model, this is a trade paperback. I mean, it's the size of a trade paperback. It's a graphic novel. It's a graphic novel, right? This thing is thick. Like if this is like quarterly, I think that's the way you do it. I mean, I don't want to put, Eric, come out with your stuff when you're ready. That's fine. But if it's like a 24-page book, even a 48-page book, like once every 5 years, I can't get on that. I really can't. It's just, I mean, I'd love to support it, but I'm going to forget about it. I mean, it better be the best fucking 48-page book ever made. But I would definitely go towards making a bigger book. If you can't produce it once a month, which is really difficult, I understand that. Yeah. Then go this route. And that would be, I think, much better, and tell a kick-ass story, and people will like it, But we'll see. I think it's. Sorry. I think what comics are going to be now is they're just going to be so spread out, and you're going to just have little groups of people supporting comics here and there, and once in a while we'll get a best-selling one, and maybe that's the future. And it becomes more artisanal, right? And I'm fine with that because it's decentralized. Anything that's decentralized, good.
But there is a big but. It's got to be done by people who actually can do the fucking job.
Yep.
None of this shite which they have at the moment. They need the proper people, the proper writers, the proper artists. Not these Tumblr fucking rejects.
Yep.
This is my first comic. Oh my god. I'm such a fan of this character. Oh my god! And then they just display something which is clearly they have no idea what this character fucking is. Absolutely. Oh my god! Look, you put yourself into the comic. Oh, just like everyone else, like you, just put yourself into the comic and did the story of you again. What a surprise! What a massive shock. That'll be a negative for me. Thanks.
Oh my god! Owning a comic shop now would. My heart goes out to the good owners out there. It does. It was a lot 10 years ago when stuff was
I don't know if you have an answer for this, but when Yellow Flash would do the charts, the top 50 and all that, is that still shipped numbers? or is that actual point of sale numbers?
Possible to know now because Diamond really doesn't exist. DC distributes through basically a comic shop, and somebody else. Marvel is going through Penguin now, so we'll never ever get like accurate numbers. That's why you got to go off the graphic novel numbers. Those are probably pretty close, and manga is just kicking their ass. Like it's destroying them. So no, we'll never know what the numbers, but like back when Yellow Flash was doing those charts, those were shipped books. Those weren't actually sold. You would have to go to each individual comic store, and just based on my sales, and this was back in, I'll go in my last year, 2013.
The Diamond stuff was just shipped only. So who fucking knew?
Like Superior Spider-Man, that was the first comic I ordered 2,500 copies of for my shelf in my little store. My little store had 400 subscribers, people who had subscriber bins, which was way up. When I bought it, it had 75. So I had built that up over 10 years. I bought 2,500, sold out in a day. Sold out in a fucking day. That shit was starting to happen like a lot, but most of the time it was I'll put 5 on the shelf. I'll put 1 on the shelf. We even started getting with DC in particular. It was bad, like in 2013. I would just make it what I would call subscriber specific, where I just gave it to my subs and I wouldn't put shit in the shelf unless somebody asked for it for a special order, and then I get it. And most of the stuff, the sell-through rate was shit. It was absolute shit. Like if it wasn't my subscribers, people weren't walking in and buying it off the rack. That started like dwindling in time. And that's when they started doing way more variants, gimmicks, killing people to get those CNN headlines, which turned into turning people gay.
Yes.
And it led us to this, and it was unsustainable. And like, I recognized that like my first year in the store, because like I had worked in other businesses and run other businesses. So I'm like, wow, this can't work. And I brought it up at a retailer summit, and thank God one comic shop agreed with me, who was a veteran, and the rest of them told me to shut the fuck up. You know, they kind of laughed at me and said, shut up, little junior, sit down and be quiet. And I felt stupid. So I did, you know, but later on, like here we are, like it was just kicking the can. You kick a can down a road. Eventually you got to pay the piper. Comic industry is paying the piper right now. And they can't afford good talent, and all the talent that was there didn't love comics. They all wanted to fucking work for Hollywood. You know, they weren't bringing in people who loved comic books. That was another big problem. Like Garth Ennis hates fucking superheroes, and it really shows in The Boys. He hates them. Grant Morrison, I liked, but like he's a wizard along with Alan Moore.
Yeah.
And he's not as nihilist as Alan Moore, but I mean, like at least Grant Morrison like believed in heroism. Alan Moore does not.
No,
and never did. But
and now he's on he's been on an apology tour for the best part of
fuck
15 years or so.
Whatever, just doing drugs. I mean, we also have these third and fourth generation artists, right? Who have been artists their entire lives, which is great. That shows you how great this country and this whole system is, that you can be a comic artist your entire life and make a living. We don't have artists and writers with life experience who went to war, I don't know, traveled the world, touch some grass once in a while, and have this real world experience. So they don't know what fucking work, what it's like to work 40 hours a week. So of course they're all socialists, because I mean, they're idealistic socialists. They have no idea what it's like to actually go into work 8 to 5 every fucking day, you know, and just want to have a little escapism. When that's your customer, that is your comic book customer. Even in San Francisco, elitist San Francisco, where I had a shop, it was blue collar. You know, once in a while I get a lawyer and the doctor, but it was students, blue collar guys, mostly guys, 85% guys, pretty much across the board all the time.
Sexism.
Total sexism.
That aside, it's as if, certain marketplaces attract a certain type of clientele. It doesn't have
the way
to
you said
attract
clientele. Clientele.
Renaissance too.
Renaissance,
Think
yeah.
proper.
Yeah, I speaks the proper Queen's English.
Oh my God,
King's
let's
English.
finish this. I can't look at this guy's face anymore.
You're going to have to deal with it.
Yeah.
You know, because now, of course, we got to bring more women into this, or we got to bring this demographic into this, or that, and it's when it's forced, it doesn't work. You know, there's a reason why men work certain jobs and women work certain jobs, and there's a reason why men gravitate towards certain products and women gravitate towards certain products. That isn't sexist. There's nothing sexist about it. There's a big difference between male and females. Surprise, surprise.
I haven't seen a lot of women in sewage.
Nor in construction, in anything like that, anything manual, rigging, oil on the oil rigs. Don't see a lot of women in that.
No.
Hey, they hold the stop sign at the road work here in the States. I don't know if
That's
they do that they don't do it in the road work, but they hold the stop sign.
Mm.
So you're saying we need
also,
more women in oil as
yes.
Yeah.
And in Atlantic fishing.
I want trans representation in underwater welding. That's what I want.
Oh, did you see the announcement by the Biden administration the other day that said that trans women will still get drafted?
Yes.
I think that's funny.
It's as if they say one thing and believe
When are
another.
women going to get drafted?
I don't know.
There you
I
go.
thought trans women were women, so
They are. So they get drafted.
No. Well, no. I'm not even going to play that game.
That's the first time you're not.
Blade, by the way, Nina just showed us something, ladies. Blade has been put on hold.
Oh, like today or?
It was today.
He
It's
just announced it.
We'll finish this and then we'll go into that article. I don't know when Clifton's back, so let's just finish this. Because I was gonna say let's finish this guy off, but I think he's already been done. So. Oh my God!
Active on a daily basis. A good example of this approach would be the already second edition of our scholarship and mentoring program called Dziewczyny w grze, Girls in the Game.
Stuff in our language, it'll sound weird, and it's okay to make fun of that too. All right.
Yeah.
Go right ahead. What's this stupid thing we have in our language? Banana. That sounds kind of funny.
I love bananas.
I like how they say it in the character.
We've got to force women at gunpoint into this.
I bet you do love bananas, Nina.
I do.
All right, bye.
Wow. He's gone. Yes, we got women programs. Yay.
It's aimed at talented girls who are considering a career in the
Yay.
gaming industry.
That's me.
Summing up, our key
no
ESG ambitions are to provoke reflections through the memorable stories we tell in our games, to be a company people want to be part of, to continue the green transformation on our campus and beyond, to build relationships based on trust and transparency, to use our resources and competencies to support others. We commit ourselves to continued improvement of our performance in each of these areas.
Is there
Our
anything
annual
about making a
sustainability
good
reports
game
will
other than,
summarize
I guess, the
progress
first
towards
one?
existing goals and define ESG goals.
Well, this isn't about games at all. This is
This is
just
Project
about
Red. They can't make bad games. They're
The
gonna be
fuck?
fine.
CD Project Red. We trust. No, not no more.
Pickle sandwich. What?
Pickle sandwich is good.
Yeah.
Branston pickle. Anyway, let's.
Pickles
finish
in
it.
Future years. I invite you to review the ESG tab on our corporate website at cdproject.com, where we post updates on our ongoing projects.
Sign me up.
There you go.
Yay! They're saving lives.
I'm glad they put that out there, though. I mean, it's like it, for all the people like this stuff isn't going on. Really? Okay.
Yeah. Cheers for telling us. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
So I saw a super chat go past saying this is a hostage video. He's literally saying to BlackRock and thing with you, don't tank our stock, please.
Yep.
Don't tank our stock.
Yep. That's what it's become. That's they were able to backdoor this stuff.
Vanguard, isn't it? The other one I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's bring this up then. So this is dropped from the Hollywood Reporter.
Oh my God.
Marvel Studios pauses Blade movie, admits search for new director.
But what was the story on the old one leaving? Is it literally because like this is not Blade was the idea?
Well, we're never going to get an answer as
what's the same thing that happened with Multiverse of Madness, isn't it? And Black Widow. It keeps happening.
Mm-hmm.
It happened with almost every single D+ show, by the way. Very quietly, a lot of showrunners never wanted to return.
Have we talked on this show about how Michael Waldron's got access to the 2 Avengers movies and a Star Wars movie, by the way?
No.
Wow.
We haven't discussed that, but he has.
So if anyone's seen my video, I kind of consider him one of the worst writers in history at this point.
I
he
agree.
wrote Loki and Multiverse of Madness, and he's been given the next set of Avengers movies. I can't help but believe at this point that it's just because of the fact that they can ring him and be like, we're starting up filming. Can you just pretend to be the writer? And he's like, yeah, sure. I'm your man. I'll do it. I'll get paid. While there's these other people who are like, Blade? Hell yeah, I'll make Blade. I love Blade. Then they're like, you have to make it this. And they're like, this isn't, that's not Blade. You fucking it up. This is a little wrong. I'm leaving. And then they're like, go ahead. Michael Waldron, do you mind taking over?
Yeah.
We got this great actor, right, to play. I think he'd be freaking great in a proper Blade movie.
I agree. He's a great actor.
But we're not going to Marvel.
Thing. Someone being like, oh, we can get a new Blade. It's like, oh yeah, I'm up for that. Let's do it. And then it's like from Marvel. And it's like, oh right, yeah. Never mind. The very company that created it is like, yeah, can you stay away, please? Obviously, they're not quite the company they were.
Did you see Werewolf by Night yet, Mahler?
No, I haven't.
I heard it's really good.
Been getting more and more recommendations.
It's really good. Okay, like I think it's fine. It's
the end-all situation where it's just like, but compared to the other stuff,
yeah. I mean,
but we can't start doing that because it just lowers standards in general.
They introduce Ulysses Bloodstone by having him dead. So, and then his daughter takes over, which it happens in the comics. Nobody knows what Bloodstone is. Okay, I understand that. And it shot in black and white. It's competently directed. I think there's some things that are like it will be like a good, enjoyable time that you will completely forget about in 24 hours. But you'll go like that, like as far as, but it's still probably the best thing, and it is the best thing in Phase 4, aside from No Way Home, which is Sony. But it's like a serious like 6 out of 10. It's like it's all right.
Okay.
This is where we are now. Serious 6 out of 10.
Wow.
It came off. I thought the trailer looked like it was directed by Rob Zombie. So I'm like, oh god, this is going to be bad. But no, the directing's actually pretty competent in it.
So it's no She-Hulk.
It's
Okay.
no. It's light years better than She-Hulk.
I already know it's not She-Hulk because the way people are talking about it. There's no way
Yeah.
it's She-Hulk.
6 out of 10 isn't She-Hulk.
No.
She-Hulk struggles to get into positive out of 10.
Right. God.
So anyway,
mess.
Marvel Studios is going to take some extra time to sharpen its Blade feature project. In the wake of parting ways with director Bassem Tariq 2 weeks ago, the studio is pressing pause on the vampire adventure thriller that is to star Oscar winner. I can't pronounce his full name.
Mahershala Ali.
Thank you. Marvel is. I see. I am racist, so I struggle with these names. Marvel is temporarily. Just to stop. I was in a taxi once with an Indian guy, and he was based as fuck, and it was hilarious. And so we started just talking about this, that, and the other, just everything. And I mentioned about, because there was a spree. I think it was at the time that George R.R. Martin got dragged over the coals for not being able to pronounce certain names.
Yep.
And so I was thinking about that because I think Game of Thrones was going on at the time. And the driver was literally laughing. And he said, there's no way you'd be able to pronounce my surname. He said, because it's not something that you say every day. It's not something that you used to saying. So if I invite you around to my family, he said, you'd never be able to pronounce any of the names. We'd have to literally like break it up syllable by syllable. It was based as fuck.
Yeah,
that's true.
Whenever you do pronounce it correctly first time, you'll impress people. They'll be like, oh, cool. That sort of thing. They wouldn't do that if it was normal to just say it normal for.
Well, people are getting PTSD now by saying the wrong name on movie sets. So
there used to be fun jokes.
Hey, what's this? Wait.
That goes for any Western name too. That's why I get confused about this.
As what's this top article here? Marvel shifts dates for Avengers: Secret Wars, Deadpool 3, Fantastic Four, and Blade.
So look.
Oh,
because Blade. Okay. So wait, we just got the date for Deadpool.
Yeah, because this
like
is
a week ago.
October 11th.
October the 11th. Disney's shaking up its release date calendar, pushing back multiple titles, including 4 from the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Oh, this is great.
Mahershala.
Mahershala.
Mahershala. Okay, Mahershala. That's all I needed.
There you
I
go,
just needed the
Mahershala.
break of the. I just needed the breaks. Mahershala Ali's. See, I'm fucking
Got it.
good now.
Good job.
Yeah.
I'm very proud of you, Az.
Thank you. I just needed the syllables to be broken up for me. That's all I needed. Like food. I needed somebody to cut my food for me.
You're like a Ferengi. You just like
Ever since back from its
I needed a naked woman to cut my food.
chew it up for
a
you.
year. They pushed it back a year, and the Deadpool movie that, by the way, overshadowed all of their announcements the date's already been changed. That is fucking great.
Mahershala Ali's Blade has moved to September the 6th, 2024.
Shit show.
2 years away because they have nobody
Yeah,
attached
they
to it.
don't even have any project right now.
Yeah. Back from its November the 3rd. They thought they were going to film and edit a fucking film in a year?
Yeah, and it would have been shit.
Oh, Fantastic Four is pushed back to 2025. That was announced 2 years ago.
Spoilers, Gary.
Sorry, I just know. It's like, holy shit.
Back from November 3rd, 2023 date, and it comes as the feature looks for a new director after splitting with... Yeah, we've been through that. The news comes after... Yes, we've been through that. Let's go to this one then. The untitled Deadpool 3 is moving to November 2024, back from September the 6th, 2024. Right, so they pushed it into the 4th quarter instead of the 3rd quarter.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they've done with Deadpool.
Move. That's actually a smart move.
The film's Fantastic Four's been pushed back several months from February to February. Valentine's Day 2025.
That's a terrible release date for the Fantastic Four in February.
Back from November the 8th, 2020. Fucking, it's never that Fantastic Four movie's never coming out.
Dude, it's not.
It's not, is it? It's never gonna fucking come out. The film, one of Marvel's most anticipated, has yet to cast the 4 leads. But WandaVision director Matt Shackman attached to direct.
Yay.
You're holding thousands of people hostage. I'm not the one holding the guns. We're holding the guns at the person who has thousands of people hostage. That's how it works.
Mm-hmm. That's who's going to direct Fantastic Four. Great.
Yep. And Avengers Secret Wars, the culmination of Marvel's multiverse saga,
Oh, come on.
has moved to May the 1st, 2026.
Oof. We got 4 years.
4 fucking years. 4 fucking years.
Well, we're going to give Michael a whole week to write, so.
Hey, everybody,
forward, you know?
Marvel's in great shape. Marvel's just in fantastic shape. Better than ever, everybody.
I didn't even know it was due to come out November 2025. What the fuck is that? Jeez.
Hey, don't worry. The Marvels is right around the corner.
Oh, no.
That's going to be such a movie.
I have a sound for that movie.
Jeez, man. Avengers, the Kang Dynasty remains on the docket for its original May 2025 release. Only 3 years for that one, folks.
Oh, the Ukrainian war might be over by then.
We might be over by then.
I know.
Holy shit!
Oh,
which is going to happen first? A nuclear annihilation or the Fantastic Four movie?
I think it says that they're going to release the Planet of the Apes. I think the actual Planet of the Apes might happen.
Dude, what is what is Phase 7 gonna look like? I wonder.
It's gonna look like cancer, Mola.
It's gonna be
just pure metastatized cancer.
And, you know, I feel like they should have just. I mean, look, I saw Endgame, and I was like, this is, you know what, this is not actually a good movie, but I'm very satisfied, and that was it for me. I've been here for the past 10 years, past 12 years. I've seen all the movies. I've gone through all the ups and downs. And like, I've seen the bad movies. I've seen the good ones. They changed cinematic history. They did something unprecedented. Just walking, I know you got to make more money, but I kind of wish they just kind of hung it up and said, we did this thing. I know that's completely unrealistic, but if they're going to, because for me, I'm basically waiting on the X-Men at this point, but I also, given the direction of the brand right now, I'm just like, I don't want them to fuck up the X-Men, bro. And
dude,
I just think they're gonna do it.
There's not going to be any X-Men until 2027 at this point. Well, they haven't announced them yet.
Right.
Well, hey, if we have Wolverine in Deadpool 3, and that's in the MCU, I guess he'll be the first. Well, I say the first mutant. They've already had their first mutant, haven't they?
But it won't be the X-Men. It'll be the mutants.
It'll be the mutants. And let's keep in mind,
killing the brand. Kill the brand.
Hollywood box office worst in 25 years. Over the past couple of weeks, worst box office in 25 years. That's insane. That's absolutely insane. And did you see later in the article? They're like, oh, the Furiosa prequels coming out on the Warner Brothers side. It's like, who gives a fuck about the Furiosa prequel?
Everyone is excited for that, Gary. Everyone.
No. someone in the chat. Someone in the chat said X them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's Victoria Alonso that hates the name. She hates X-Men.
It's so funny. These people come in who didn't create anything. They just step in. Oh, I don't like this, so change it. Like, bitch, who are you? Who are you? Nobody.
They're the people who unfortunately hold the rights to the license. That's the problem. That is the big problem.
That's who they is.
Well, now they're experiencing big problems because there is a recession currently right now. No whether people want to say it or not. And disposable income isn't around like it was in that amazing Trump economy of 2019 when stupid films like Captain Marvel could make $1 billion and Lion King live action CGI remakes of an and like could make $1 billion. That shit's not going to happen anymore. It's just it's over. And they now that they've corralled everything into their streaming services, they're getting less licensing money. And they're discovering this, and this big streaming answer isn't the answer they thought it was. So a little contraction will be like I saw a Yellow Flash video. Hail Yellow Flash, by the way. A video today talking about some more Warner Brothers layoffs coming. What do you think the shit ain't come for Disney too? Now, they very conveniently laid off how many people during COVID? 18,000, 20,000. Help me. Check. It was a lot. It was a lot of fucking people they laid off during COVID. While they collected all that PPP money, by the way,
which they don't have to pay
PPP money. You
pew money as well.
PPP money. Yeah.
Man. Fucking hell.
They were allowed to work when everybody else was locked down, like gyms and salons. But the actors in Hollywood were allowed to work.
Yeah, that was such bullshit.
Did you? Oh, yeah, and they were allowed to work while the restaurant, literally a road length away, had to shut.
Mm-hmm.
No, I feel
and
like
they had their craft services out and everything there.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that. Sorry for speaking as I'm eating, but I do
it's
wonder.
Not the first time you're speaking with your mouth full. Let's just be honest.
Oh shit!
Oh my!
Right, As coming back now. trying to come back with a rose. But it was funny that now that you mentioned it, I was like, I feel like the film that Az is really waiting for will be the Trantastic Four. But I wonder if
that's my favorite character is the they them. I mean the thing.
Oh, if we get like a non-binary Human Torch or something, I mean, like that would just really.
Oh, I hope so. I hope so.
A non-binary thing would be more appropriate, but
well, yeah, that would go against canon because in Fanforstic, didn't thing have a dick? Oh, never mind. I forgot. It doesn't matter. But the whole point that I was making is that I wonder how many people saw that and they saw, all of these, Hollywood was still operating. I mean, I did the last role I ever did was a little guest star on the Good Fight on CBS, and I'm like, oh well, they still got a job. That's fine, but like, I'm looking at that and I'm like, I bet people around here are just resentful that they get to see these actors who still get to do their thing. They still get to work. I know that like there's a low level of contempt that was already there for the adult pretenders, but after that, I'm just like, in the video that Az referenced of the woman who was on camera saying like, we're doing everything that they're asking us to for quote unquote safety, but then this film set is over here, the craft services and whatnot aren't doing anything. But I'm high risk, but they're not. There's no sense to it, and it was a really pretty disgusting display for me, to be honest with you.
The Good Fight was interesting, showing the level of TDS that was hitting the Democratic Party at the time.
Oh my God, the scene that I did, I played Malcolm X for one scene, and so I'm in this scene with an actor playing Jesus, another actor playing. There was some other character I don't remember, and then it was Karl Marx and me as Malcolm X.
It.
Oh, you saw it? Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was you at the time. Isn't that crazy? I've seen it.
The character goes, he's like, what do I do about George Floyd? And it was like a dream sequence, and that's like the whole thing. So I had this line about like, you have to fight the oppressor. It was pretty cool, but at the same time, I was like, yeah, man, like Karl Marx is sitting right next to me right now. This is hilarious. This is who they worship.
Yeah. No shady past. Whoa. Oh man. Should we do we want to discuss Rings of Power at all?
Sure.
Somebody said Clifton should have played Karl Marx.
Yeah, totally. Hey, he's not defined by his whiteness, Clifton.
Yeah, I guess not.
Mm-hmm.
No, he's never mind.
No, it was. Oh, that's what it was. It was Frederick. It was Frederick Douglass and Jesus and Karl Marx and Malcolm X in this one scene, this dream sequence. It was hilarious.
That was funny. I remember that.
God,
what would Carl do?
He was because he had some lines about he's like they were talking about what do I do about George Floyd, actor named Nyambi, who was a year ahead of me at conservatory, and he's like no, the violence it's not racial, it's just about the class war, and the character's like, no, I'm not trying to hear that. The scene was basically about listening to Malcolm X confirm this character's biases about the oppressors. It was hilarious.
That is.
But a few $1,000 for one day of work, it's not bad.
I wonder if writers were on that show.
Oh, you can look them up on IMDb somewhere. They're listed there somewhere.
They probably
because it's episodic television, so it could be anybody.
The Good Wife, the other one, was a really good show, and then it was interesting because the politics changed, and then the Good Fight kind of reflected on what was happening and the amount of TDS that was setting in at the time. I thought it dropped off the series as a whole, but it was good. It was a good reflection on what they will do. Like they will become evil themselves, basically, to stop what will happen. That's pretty interesting. So Rings of Power.
We got one more week. We got one more week. Well, and probably a little bit afterwards, but then this thing is down the memory hole, dude.
Until it comes back.
For 2 more years, though, right?
Through the throat and out the mouth.
It'll come out when Fantastic Four comes out.
Well, first of all, they've just started filming season 2.
Yep.
So nothing's been done because they literally started a couple of days ago. So likely 2 years until the next season. Do you think, before we go into the episode, do you think they are going to make any course? We know that they're bringing in named, Tolkien characters for season 2.
Kieran.
But do you think it will come at the cost of any of the original characters they created? And
No.
do you think they'll be doing any course correcting, even if it's stealth?
Yes. They will be doing some course correcting. It's gonna play out just like Star Trek Discovery did, which basically rebooted its series every season because everybody hated the previous season before. And believe me, more people were watching Star Trek Discovery in season 1 and 2 than are now. And that
Star Trek Discovery always fell down the same track and just did the same fucking thing every series.
Yeah, big galactic events. The shit didn't make sense. Remember the 7 points of light that were hundreds of thousands of light years apart, but everybody could see them simultaneously in a science fiction show?
Oh, that's bad reboot for you, though, isn't it? I got that
or
quote with JJ saying Star Wars isn't a science lesson. It's like, okay. So when do you adhere to physics? When you want to?
Or the kid that screamed, and because he screamed, he blew up every active warp engine in the universe.
Because he was born next to so dilithium crystals are what powered the warp engines, and he was born next to them. So it got into his DNA. So when he missed his mommy and screamed, it blew up all the fucking ships.
That's not how dilithium works.
That means because I lived near San Onofre nuclear power plant, that somehow all the nuclear energy got into me, and when I got upset, I blew up all the nuclear fucking subs in the ocean. It's the same shit. It's so stupid.
No, but only if they were turned on, though.
Only
if they weren't turned on, you were fine.
Yeah.
Wow, that was some shit.
So
literal dog shit.
It's like the same. And by the way, I bet you these guys worked on Star Trek Discovery a little bit. I'm sure they did. It feels like they did. So yeah, they're going to retool everything without admitting any defeat. They're going to keep these morons on, and you'll see characters like I don't think they're going to get rid of Don Lemonless. I think they're going to keep him around, but you watch for Guy Ladriel to drastically change and by next season, and all of a sudden she'll be smiling and angelic.
It's gonna be feminine and yeah.
Unless they do the doubling down.
Well, they might. They talked about in that article, they said, well, we're at a photo shoot and she's got her quiver of arrows, and I'm like, oh fuck me. Oh God.
Guy Ladriel has her quiver of arrows.
He's gonna be a woodland elf now. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
Oh no. Like
she's gonna be doing all of that.
She's referring to herself as a soldier. I mean, this is like the Virgin Mary training Spartans and going out and fighting with them or whatever. It's fucking ridiculous.
Well, they said that she has a golden crown of hair because she was a
golden
warrior.
Cock, I thought you were gonna say. I was gonna say probably.
So they absolutely warped and misinterpreted that when she would compete, physically compete in like sport. In like they never said sparring. It was
whatever. Whatever.
But they misinterpreted that quote like they've misinterpreted every quote. And I will just respond. Where did Tolkien specifically state that she fought in a battle and a war in armor? That's on them to prove, and not just like misinterpret a couple of words from some letters.
He didn't say she didn't do all of those.
Exactly.
Things.
That's the answer.
And let's not forget the quote that they're using is from a book they don't have the rights to. End of story.
You have rights to the appendices only.
They have rights to, just to clarify, because I've been trying to explain that to some people when I come past it, but I just want to make sure it's right. So What do they have entirely? What do they have access to entirely? Is it just the appendices?
No, it's a Hobbit, the Lord of the Rings books, so they can use any references from the Second Age in those books, like stories being told, like Gil-galad and stuff, and the appendices. But like the bulk of it,
they can fuck with the Hobbit and Lord of the Rings in terms of like they can remake them if they wanted to.
that's questionable. They have rights to put stuff, information from those books in their Second Age story. I do not believe Amazon can they could probably remake The Hobbit. There's an argument there because they own AMGM now. But Warner Brothers still has a stake in this. They cannot remake Lord of the Rings right now. They can't. No way. Warner Brothers would sue the shit out of them.
I hope so.
You know they want to.
Oh, Warner Brothers is America's dumbest company. They've had.
No, it's in the DC universe.
I know, right? Like they're America's dumbest fucking company. They're billions of dollars in debt because they're fucking stupid. They've had access to this stuff forever, and they didn't do something as simple as releasing Fellowship on the 20th anniversary and doing a big thing. You could have made tons of money from that.
Yeah.
And we got the Two Towers coming up, and the anniversary coming up in a couple of months, and then there's the Return of the King. Maybe they'll figure it out by then. But like, there's tons of love for Lord of the Rings. So this thing had tons of goodwill going in, unlike House of the Dragon, which did not, which clearly did not have goodwill going in, and they had to earn a ton of it back. It's this thing's done. It is fucking done. I don't care what they do. Now it would probably have a chance if they retooled everything, fired everybody, and came out with it in about a year and a half. But 2.5 years with the same people, it's fucking done. It's done.
I don't see, because this is going to end terribly, as we know.
Well, we know the very ending. What happens before the very ending? It's a lot of what we just saw in the last episode. It's arriving in Numenor. It's a lot of just fucking busy work. That's all it is. We've does Feminem speak a line of dialogue? They do. They speak a line of dialogue.
Yeah, because they talk to the stranger because they think the stranger, because they at the beginning of this episode, the next episode, they arrive, they've caught up to the stranger and they sort of like profess fealty to them because they think it's Sauron. They say lords. They do speak because they say Lord Sauron. We present ourselves to a lord, and then he's kind of like, I ain't no Sauron.
And then they go, ah.
And then they go, ah. And then hobbits come in and they fucking kill one. So fucking yes.
And then they eat the
Harfoot.
And then
someone's eating something.
Sorry, Harfoots.
Do they kill them by giving them disease because they're disgusting?
No, they shoot them with a fucking arrow. Like they
Right
should.
in the heart.
They get it right in there. They get that fucking stick right in that fucking little twat.
Why did Disa turn into? Oh, sorry, Gary. Sorry.
No, it's all right. I was just doing my bad stage Irish.
We'll get to Disa. We'll get to Disa.
We'll get to Disa.
So there's, and then he's like, I ain't Sauron. And they're like, oh,
but
see you then.
Oh, dearie me.
But then we find out who is Sauron.
But Gary, I've been told that they don't actually know the identity of the wizard guy, so it's possible that they could change their mind and turn it into whoever they want basically next season, because that's not going to be revealed. Is that true?
They kept it nebulous because they don't have the rights. Well, for one, you can't call him Gandalf because that name does not even apply to him in the Second Age. Like that's a Third Age name. That is something he gets when he arrives in the Third Age. So he has other names they can use. It could be other names for the blue. It could be, I think they're keeping it open. And by the way, we don't find out this season.
Right.
We don't see Rings of Power. We don't find out who the stranger is. We
know he's a wizard. We get confirmation he's a wizard.
Yeah. We don't hear Sauron's name spoken. There's just, it's an inference at the end. So imagine how pissed off people are going to be with that.
Well, I was going to say, do you think that because obviously Totes not Sauron said I'm basically Sauron? Because I could give the line. Do you want the line?
Yeah.
Sure.
The line is, I have been awake since before the breaking of the first silence. In that time, I have had many names.
So
is he forced to reveal himself or something in a scene?
Well, yeah, it's okay. It seems like his reveal is really fucking lame. Because when he's at, I don't know if he's gone to Linden or where's he?
Yeah,
that's where they're going.
Well, I mean, he was on the brink of death, so he's on a fortnight ride up to Linden.
Yeah, so he's taking the fortnight horsey ride up to Linden, and then one of the characters, I don't know who, but one of the characters, or there's information which is provided, said he's not king of the Southlands. This guy, that Halbrand guy, he's not king of the Southlands. So Galadriel, my girl, who I haven't fucking watched an episode of, she confronts Sauron, totes not Sauron, and he says that, and then deuces out.
So how do they know he's not the king?
I don't know. I just know that he's so I can hold on.
We'll find out in a couple of days.
We're not gonna get a song that's like it was Sauron
right.
all along.
Galadriel has Halbrand investigated. What that means, no idea.
Okay.
So it's the CSI Halbrand.
Oh, okay. I'm guessing Elendil is probably going to figure it out somehow.
Sacrifices a bunch of fake Numenorians and then decides to have them investigated. Like, didn't bother doing that beforehand. Like, maybe vetting.
Well, there was, in all fairness, there was a tempest in her, Gary.
Yeah,
there was a tempest in her.
In all fairness, the sea's always right, and she got rescued by him.
Did you see the video of Queen Elizabeth? The Queen Elizabeth movie and the comparison between that and Lord of the Rings, basically they stole.
I didn't see it.
They stole the line. They
basically stole the "I'm a Tempest," but it was done way better with Kate Blanchett.
Oh.
But they basically, somebody clearly watched that to see when Kate Blanchett was more of a warrior woman, and then she does this. She does her version of like the Tempest line when she like basically some men tell her to fuck off, and then she's just like, I ain't this, I have a thing in me, and then it shows. I could bring that up if you want.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
It was a good thing. But yeah, she has him investigated, and then the results of the one episode investigation.
And there's no like action. There's no battle. There's no nothing.
The skirmish in the dirt pit was the battle.
Yeah.
I think people hung on, and then they saw the pyroclastic flow, and they're just like, I'm out, dude. This is it. Fuck that.
This is stupid.
This is stupid. And it was.
This is just silly. This is silly now.
And the beauty of House of the Dragon coming out simultaneously and just being so fucking good. It couldn't have happened better. Like, to be honest with you, it's really played out kind of like as the universe tends to unfold as it should.
Yeah.
People start recognizing good versus bad. And wow.
Oh, and hold on. Hold on. I gotta right. We've been dealing with a lot of shit. So let's actually watch something positive. I'm being legit, by the way. That is wrong. By the way.
I think
it's Clifton Karl Marx.
It's Clifton Farazan.
Yeah, I know, but Farazan is Karl Marx. So
yes, he is.
It's going to be announced next season casting.
There is some mixed metaphors going on there. But no, that's not what I was going to show. I'm legit going to show something that is really fucking cool. And I think if you haven't seen this, Gary, I think you're going to like it a lot.
helmet from Lord of the Rings, and
I've got one of those.
I have to say,
Can't hear it.
you know, it's a absolute work of art made by Richard.
Is there no sound?
No, it's really low.
Oh, that's just shitty.
Detail is extraordinary. I mean,
I can hear it.
detail on
You
here
can
that
stop
you won't
talking.
necessarily register in the film, but you know, it just sort of shows you, I guess, the dedication and commitment of those guys that you know, they went to such extraordinary lengths to really make that world so rich and detailed. And I can see a little engraving on the back there. Yeah, so this was very grateful to, obviously, to Peter Jackson and Fran to have cast me in that film. It's just something that's very special and dear to me, and one of the most amazing experiences. So to have this as a little memento of that means the world to me. This is
Aww,
Wow.
that's awesome.
Well, he sold it in that movie. He was great, man.
Yeah. They all were. They were like,
Yeah.
who wasn't great in that movie? Everybody was great.
Everybody was great.
The people that are now wearing T-shirts that somebody's making a profit off for race baiting.
Yeah, but they were still great in that movie.
I know, but it's just sad to see.
I know.
How low you can fucking fall, or how indoctrinated you can get.
Yeah.
Which is probably more
sellouts.
Yeah, I'm still gonna find this. Sorry, I just saw that in my history, Gary, and I thought, you know, it's probably a good.
That was
thing
cool.
to,
Thanks for sharing that.
show. Because I watched that the other night, and I was just like, "Fuck! I needed to see this."
Is it Atlanta Cutlery? I think, or Master Replica. I can't remember who did the helmet. I think it was, but
Weta Studios.
Is it Weta? But yeah, I've got one, and it's fucking brilliant. Like it looks exactly like it does in the film. I've got a Theoden helmet. I've got it because I'm all about the Rohirrim. Yeah. Eomer helmet. Theoden sword, which I'm going to show off in the finale. I might even put on my Sauron helmet for the finale Thursday. It's big.
We should really dress up for Friday Night Times, you know.
Maybe. Like this Friday?
Yeah, for this, it's the last episode, isn't it?
Yeah.
I know. It's
The
only
last
Tuesday
episode of
today.
Friday Night Tights. Oh no.
No. Well, no, Shad'll be ready. We know Shad'll always be ready.
Shadow. Oh, brilliant. Okay, I found a video purely because I couldn't find it in my history, so I had to do it this way. So let's
Yeah, well, how's your history looking, by the way?
Yeah, okay. So I'm going to put the link to this video in the description because I want the guy to get credit, obviously, because he's got 8,500 views on this. Watch this video, people. Give him a boost on this video, please. Watch this video fully because I'm just going to show a specific part. And you know, if you like what you see from him, hit the sub on him. But you know, show him some love. At the very least, go on, smack that like button on it. Show him some love. Show him that view and show him some love because this is interesting. So let's bring this on here. So this is from Kate Blanchett's Elizabeth, the Golden Age.
Hurricane within her that will resist what is coming.
Tell Philip, I fear neither him, nor his priests, nor his armies.
There is a wind coming, madam, that will sweep away your pride.
I too can command the wind, sir! I have a hurricane in me that will strip Spain bare if you dare to try me!
Compare that with this exchange between rival girl boss characters in Rings of Power, where the Queen Regent raises the metaphorical notion that Galadriel, much like her earlier literal circumstances, may be grasping for a handhold in a tempest, to which Galadriel retorts, maintaining the metaphor, that there is a figurative tempest within her.
Or are you a castaway, grasping for a handhold in a tempest? There is a tempest in me. It swept me to this island for a reason.
Yeah, it's a bit of cunt.
I felt the same way watching it. It's really
Hold
cringe.
on. He says what?
A lame pastiche of the former language in Elizabeth the Golden Age.
Ooh.
Part of the
Ooh. So watch. I put the link in the chat. I'll drop it again now. Please go open up another tab, folks. Watch the whole video. It's a good video.
You know, I haven't watched any of the Rings of Power. I have watched a ton of videos about each episode of the Rings of Power. It's really interesting. But you know, I just gotta say, man, just from an acting perspective, did you see how much regality and how much gravitas and how much size Cate Blanchett had?
Yep.
Did you see? I mean, when she says, "I have, you know, this storm inside of me," you see it. She is able to convey that. I believe that she has that within her. She has that power. I'm watching these other two actors in the Rings of Power, and there's
Nothing.
there's no charisma. There's
Like
no
kids
I can
shouting at
see-
their dad with their
Yeah,
unsure of themselves, sort of thing.
there's something that's missing about it, and there's no like. I mean, I saw it in the freeze frame that Clive Owen was also in that film with Cate Blanchett, another great actor.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, this is so, you know, because I'd heard that the acting on the Rings of Power isn't that good, and I'm watching it, and I feel bad because I don't want to talk about people's performances and work, but the fact of the matter is that they didn't give themselves that job. So again, that comes from the top. That's people who are saying like, we want to hire. You know, they had to have auditioned countless actors for each of these roles from around the world now, because now what you do, because everything is so digital and it's way easier now, frankly, you put yourself on tape and you send it off to the casting or your own agent, and they send it off to the casting director or whatever, you know, and then if they like you, they call you back and yada, yada, yada. So I'm like, how many people did they see for this? And then these are the people that they decided on. I don't know what to say about that. So like, there's nothing in that scene that compelled me. Like, I don't believe you have a tempest in you. I feel like you're having kind of a tantrum, as opposed to Cate Blanchett, who was just like, she will kick my ass.
Mad. Yeah.
She was angry. She was angry. She was, you know, fuck you. You know, there's a hurricane inside of me.
Try me, bitch.
And then I think your analogy is perfect. She was literally like a petulant baby in Rings of Power. I have a tempest in me. And with her face is all fucking quivering and fuck off, Karen.
She didn't seem confident in the delivery.
That's what I'm saying. There's like no sort of
it wasn't believable.
I don't believe you. That's the thing.
Yeah.
And people talk about, you know, a good performance versus a bad performance. I mean, I may start making videos about this kind of stuff to kind of demonstrate to people. It's not really about, you know, good or bad. Most of the time, it's about what's convincing and what's not. You know, because you can have an actor who's not like the greatest actor. I mean, Arnold Schwarzenegger is convincing as the Terminator. You know, Sylvester Stallone is convincing as Rocky. But that, I mean, Cate Blanchett, I mean, her as Hela was my favorite part of Thor Ragnarok. I thought she was chewing that scenery like she was starving to death. And, you know, but she was large and evil and dark and sexy and fun. And I was like, I could tell she was having the time of her life as an actor. And by the way, she came from the stage. So that goes to show you right there, the kind of training that you can get when you work in that capacity. And I mean, I see it a lot now, man. I'm like, these people aren't getting hired because they're appealing in any sort of a way. They're just sort of boring and bland. I don't.
But I think in Rings of Power, one of the reasons why the acting is so poor is because the men aren't allowed to be men. They're all inoffensive femi boys. The elves are complete and utter femboys. And even characters like Elendil isn't allowed to assert himself as the leader of the fucking armies of Numenor. And his son is portrayed in a femi way. It's a very feminine, sorry, ladies, didn't mean to speak. I hear you speaking. There's no masculinity in the show. It's completely devoid of it. And even Halbrand, who you could argue is the most masculine, ain't that fucking masculine because he's not been allowed to do anything.
Well, you know, it's a very, and I was thinking about this the other day, it is a very explicitly anti-male, anti-masculine industry right now. Whether you're talking about the theater industry in New York or in LA, you know, anything that a man is, anything a man does, anything that might give any sort of credence to the sort of unique strengths that a man could bring. They don't want that, and it's ironic because when you think about it, what they're really saying, oh my God, no, are you kidding me? I hate that so much. Speaking of an act, Angela Lansbury, people know her from Murder, She Wrote. She had a long, illustrious stage career and film career.
Yeah.
She is one of the greatest actresses that lived. Singer, actor, dancer. She did it all. She did all of it. These are the kind of people that are passing on now, but now we have to settle for these kinds of assholes who get hired in these really bad shows. I'm crushed by that news. That's terrible.
Sad, very, very sad. She was
Rest
great.
in peace, Angie.
Rest in
I know
peace.
that I don't want to make this sound trite at all, but I mean, as a kid, Murder, She Wrote was just
love Murder, She
absolute
Wrote.
must-see TV.
Yeah.
Must see. It was fantastic. So
God, Murder, She Wrote is classic.
Yeah.
Then
Rest in
you
peace.
saw in earlier stuff, but yeah.
There's a funny one, and since this term is being used a lot lately, she was one of her first roles, I think, was in a movie called Gaslight, and she played a maid in that film, and she's sardonic, she's funny, it's a black and white film, and that's where the term gaslighting came from. It's a film about this married couple, and the husband is literally gaslighting his wife and driving her crazy. And Angela Lansbury is the maid in that film. It's so good if you want to go back and watch it. But man,
he's in one of the best Danny Kaye movies of all time, The Court Jester. Freaking great movie, hilarious movie. If you've never seen it, 1955. It's freaking great.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, that's yeah.
Oh yeah, but sorry, I was just saying, it's a very anti-male industry, and I think it's so fascinating to watch it because it goes back to what we were talking about with Black Panther, or how they had to ruin Thor and the Hulk in Avengers Endgame. When I saw depressed, fat Thor as a joke, I'm like, nobody wants to see Thor as that. That's not Thor. He is I love Thor. I began to read some of his comics, and I didn't expect that I would like Thor as much as I did. But he's heroic, he's brave, his heart is always in the right place. That's why he can lift Mjolnir, because he's worthy of lifting the hammer. He might not be the sharpest tool in the shed. He might be rash sometimes, but he's always fighting on the side of good, and he's powerful, and he beds all the women. There's so many great sort of panels in these runs where you have women who are like, I would love to take him home for a night. It's like it's so built in. He's like this sort of ideal masculine character and hero, and you can't have that right now. Not in Hollywood. You can't do that. I mean, I'm interested to see if Blade, if it ever comes out, how that's going to turn out, because Wesley Snipes, who's wearing who's had a transformation himself, but
wow.
Wesley Snipes, who was like one of the biggest action stars of the 90s, we're supposed to like not remember that for some reason. The guy was a great actor and a great mover and like a convincing fighter. And like, do we really expect that we're going to have a character that's going to be as just as Wesley Snipes' Blade was? I don't know, man. Mahershala Ali, he's a great actor. We had the same training background. He can do it. He just needs the people to write it.
Writers
Right.
Yeah.
Clifton,
I think go on, you go.
To your point too, with regards to how men are being treated in Hollywood, I think it's kind of a mix in a way, because I really do feel that the feminine energy is also being completely destroyed, and they're portraying actual female characters as men because they want to destroy both. They want to blur the lines because, like, for example, with the whole I, Joan thing, Clifton, like, that whole, like, you have a historical female person that is now being represented by something that's neither, and it's crazy. And the same thing with Galadriel and Rings of Power, and how she's being represented as like, instead of being this feminine mother, this ethereal woman, wife, mother person, she's being represented as someone who should be masculine and a fighter and a warrior and all these different masculine traits. And I think that it's really both. It's going hand in hand in destroying this culture. And there's a reason for all of it. And it's a dark reason.
I'll tell you something else too. When I've had, my actress friends push back on me on this. I'm like, what they're going to start doing now? They're going to start talking about beauty privilege, and so you're going to start seeing, you're going to start seeing a bunch of goblins getting cast, and then those movies are going to tank because what Hollywood figured out long ago is that. Love scenes. What Hollywood figured out
no
is that people will pay money to see attractive people on the screen. They could be, if they're funny, they're charismatic, that's one thing. That's typically for the guys, but it also applies to the women. And even women want to go see beautiful women in the cinema. So that's going to be the next thing. It's like, it's not just that we're going to denigrate women by making them mediocre versions of men.
Yes.
We're going to have a bunch of for the sake of inclusivity. Yeah.
Well, a lot of the action heroes from yesteryear, should we just say, because I don't think it's applicable today. A lot of them were sort of a little bit blank slatey because the whole point was the escapism that you could put yourself into that character, not self-insert, but you could put yourself into what was going on, and so you'd have these sort of what we call generic action heroes, and that allowed you to kind of live out the power fantasy, the hero fantasy, because this was meant to be escapism. This was meant to take you away for a couple of hours of fun. And before you went back to your real life. Now, all we hear from Hollywood is, we need it to reflect current day. We need it to reflect the Biden administration, which is amazing. And we need it to reflect how bad Trump was, who's Hitler. Or that's all we get. So all this, it's not entertainment. They even stopped saying entertainment. They've used the word edutainment.
Yeah.
Because they think they are. This is the form that we're educating you. Okay, we're telling you. And instead of allowing you, which good TV shows do, good movies do, is to allow you to think for yourself, present you with certain aspects, and allow you to draw your own conclusions. Now we're having these edutainments, which are telling us how we should think, telling us how we should be feeling about this. And one of those assaults has been on masculinity. I don't think toxic masculinity exists. I think that's just bullshit. It's a bullshit name which has actually been constructed about masculinity. So you put toxic in front of it because you want to demonize masculinity. So that's what they've done with that. But as Nina was alluding to, what they've done though is they've taken away femininity as well. And they deem femininity to be weak, which in itself is inherently sexist.
It's sexist, yeah.
Yes, but they don't seem to understand the dichotomy that they've got themselves into there. And now we're seeing women being transplanted with what they would deem toxic masculinity, what normal people I think would just deem masculinity. So now women are existing these masculine traits, the men are existing these feminine traits.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just all wrong. The normal person going to the cinema or the normal person watching the TV show is just like, this doesn't make sense. And it doesn't make sense because they've gone complete reversals on the gender norms. And I don't think there's anything wrong with having gender norms because males bring things to the table, females bring things to the table. Sometimes they cross-pollinate, other times they don't. There can be great strength, as we saw in Elizabeth, with how she projected, because Queen Elizabeth was a real fucking person, Queen Elizabeth I, leading Britain at a time where, of course, it was male-dominated. So to have this woman on the throne, and how, there are various aspects about Elizabeth I, but one thing you can't say is that she wasn't a strong leader. at least the way that she exerted herself and exerted her authority. And that just, I know that was a fictional, it's obviously fiction because you don't know exactly what was said. But the way that they displayed that with Kate Blanchett, stuffed it to the Spaniards. And of course, the British beat the Spaniards, even though the Spaniards had a much greater and bigger navy than we did. So there's all these aspects that they can bring, but somehow we are literally reverted to, and I'll use what you said, Clifton, the way that you saw Galadriel. It's now tangible. It's childish. We now have this child Lord of the Ring. No, sorry, I'm so sorry for saying that. Rings of Power feels like it's a child's production. The verbiage is childish. The acting is infantile. The characterization is non-existent in most characters. And then when a character is allowed to actually have any agency, which is Galadriel, she acts like a petulant child, like a child that always has to get one up on whoever's speaking to her. Somebody that when they want to talk about a certain aspect, she has to say to them, I am better than you at this aspect, literally in the show. So it comes across as infantile. This whole show is infantile, written by children for child minds, and directed in a childish way. It's so flat. The whole show is so flat. The most dynamicism we've seen in it so far is in episode 6, where they dared to have a couple of Dutch angles. Other than that, it's flat, flat, flat. And the only time it isn't flat is when it reverts to the CGI, when it does its sweeping landscapes. So the whole thing is it just doesn't compute as entertainment. It doesn't compute as anything that is interesting, that has characters that you can actually invest in. And I don't say this because I don't like the show. I don't like the show, but I couldn't give a shit if Muriel died, Elendil died, Isildur died, Galadriel died, Halbrand died, Durin the Fourth died, Disa died. I couldn't care because there's been nothing in the show whatsoever to allow me to relate and empathize with these characters, because the writing is so fucking basic and the characterization is so non-existent.
Well, and also going on to your point, and all the good and evil is mixed up. Like, so again, they're blurring the lines with what is supposed to be good and what is supposed to be evil. So you don't know who to root for. Even like when it came to Disa and her character change, like even the one character that we were like, oh, she's somewhat okay, and all of a sudden it's like, no, she's not. She's just this crazy old person. And juxtaposed with this show, then you have also She-Hulk going on at the same time, where She-Hulk is also doing the same thing, just like projecting this vapid projection of the people who are writing it onto these characters and making it think like, oh, evil is good and good is evil now. And
well,
with Disa, just very quickly, Clifton, just to respond to the Disa thing. With the Disa thing, though, Nina, I honest to God think it's just really bad writing.
Agreed.
Because there is no characterization.
Agreed with you. I agree with you.
Sorry.
Yes.
Clifton.
Well, what I was going to say is that I think, well, first of all, going back to the idea of edutainment. When I did the podcast with Douglas Murray, and he mentioned that this theater critic in London named Lloyd Evans, and he made a brilliant comment which he applied to theater, but I think it also applies to cinema as well. And he said, the theater, they've turned it in, they think that it's a think tank as opposed to a place where you go, to be moved by something. And I think on an even deeper level, we're talking about feeling distant from characters, not being able to invest in them, feeling alienated. And I think part of that, it ties into what we're talking about in terms of they're trying to blur the lines of between good and evil. It made me think of like the Punisher, for instance. And you mentioned Garth Ennis earlier. I love Garth Ennis's Punisher. And one of the things that I see in all those stories is there's always another character. Like, I mean, Punisher, I mean, he is the hero, but there's always a character who looks at what Punisher does and says, that's beyond the pale. I don't like what you do. That, like, you're getting results, but this is wrong. So there's always somebody there to let you know, like, what you're doing is you're going too far. And so it's one thing, you can have an anti-hero, but you know, we have to recognize that there is still, you have to name what the bad actually is, you know. And but on a deeper level, I think what it is that you know, they're trying to subvert all these norms and expectations, but what it does is that it creates these character archetypes that we can't recognize as people. We don't recognize what any of these people are. Like even like consciously we don't recognize it, but I also think subconsciously we're just like, this doesn't feel right, and I can't invest in this. And the irony of all of that is that the more you try to queer everything up, or, you know, gender bend or whatever, it just becomes boring. And so then when you actually do have a performer or a character who comes in who is a part of one of those minorities, then it can actually be unique and have more impact. And you can take advantage of that. But now if everyone is quote unquote special, then nobody is, and
Exactly.
they're gonna be less memorable. It's just basic stuff, you know, and it goes back into this idea of you know, it being very infantile and childish. And part of the reason, I think, is that you increasingly have people who come out of like programs, or they come out of you know, MFA programs, writer programs, or whatever, who they're looking at the masters of old, so to speak. I mean, even the word master now is considered racist. But you know, if you don't have to like their work, but you still, I think you need to study, you know, Sophocles and Euripides and Aeschylus and, you know, Chekhov and Shakespeare, all that stuff, because they were masters of their craft. And you can take what they created, you can take the good and refashion it to do, you know, whatever it is that you do, but just keep it grounded in strong story craft. You can put your politics into it, just don't let it overwhelm the story craft. And you might even change some minds, but they don't have the basic craft, the foundational craft. They don't have life experience. They're shallow people. Even in actor training, you know, when I was in conservatory, we had the opportunity to watch prospective students audition for the program, and you would see the faculty. They would say, you know, increasingly we're seeing fewer and fewer people who, I mean, they're bright, they're shiny, they're nice looking, but there's no sort of substance there. And, you know, what we want to see as audience members is what, you know, all the cracks in the facade. We want to see the flaws. That's what we relate to, unless it's like an idealized character. I mean, but even Superman, you know, I mean, we need to see something, some kind of cracks there to be able to relate to the guy. It's a whole, maybe it's a generational thing or something.
You're so right, because and going on to this point, because they keep saying they want to make characters that you can see yourself in, but they're doing the exact opposite, because we used to be able to see ourselves in all of these very complicated characters because they were complicated, because humans are complicated, and we identified with those characteristics of all these different complications that, you know, go on within a character. But now they're like, oh, we're gonna make this character represent you so that you can see yourself on screen, but only on the surface, because they're going to just look like you. On the surface, they're going to look like you, but inside, we're just left wondering, well, I can't identify with any of this because that's not how I think, that's not how I feel, but I'm supposed to feel and think this way, because they want to educate you to think the way that they do. And if you don't, then it's wrong think, and you're going to get canceled.
Yeah.
You don't have to see everything. You just have to see certain things that you can pick from it.
You know, there's one of my teachers once said, and it sounds counterintuitive, but she was absolutely right. It's like, you know, the more personal something is, the more universal it becomes. So if these people would sit there and just write, you know, you can, I mean, there's an interesting film that came out some years ago called Gun Hill Road. And it's a coming of age story about this young boy who is transitioning into a girl. And it's just one of those things where, you know, you see him stumble through these relationships. You know, he has a tumultuous family life at home. There's moments of levity. But it doesn't beat you over the head with like, you must embrace these people. It shows you a young kid who is coming of age and going through all the stuff that we went through as kids, except, you know, sort of in certain ways. but that's what makes a character relatable, is that I can recognize myself as an awkward teenager. You know, I can recognize myself as a kid who's fighting with his parents. It's stuff like that will make your story resonate. And even then, you know, you might have to just accept that. I mean, I feel bad about the whole bros thing, because maybe it's a funny movie, but the fact of the matter is that, you know, it's only going to appeal to a small number of people. But maybe, you know, maybe that's just the long and the short of it. And that's what it's going to be like. If you're putting out a product to appeal to a certain audience, it's going to be that. But that's sort of beside the point. It's just, I don't know. I kind of went off on a tangent there, but write better, be better.
I completely agree with you.
There's a point where you expect normal evolution and not seeing the world for what it is. With the Bros movie, I don't know if these fools thought like all of a sudden America's like 50% gay. It's not. It never will be. And you can't be. You can't have a civilization like that. We need to procreate.
They want it to be.
Well, you know what though? Because people in the chat are pointing this out. People in the chat are pointing this out though. I mean, La Cage aux Folles back in the day did well. You know, people saw Birdcage. People went to see Brokeback Mountain.
Picture show's been around forever.
I mean, I haven't seen Bros. It's not made for me, shall we say? But with Birdcage, one of the reasons why I love the Birdcage is because you know, obviously Robin Williams and everyone, but the fact that the way that it positioned the characters is you liked all of the characters. You know, they were likable, and they weren't likable because they were gay. You know, they were likable because of how the way they interacted with each other, how the way that they, you know, the comedy, the levity. Robin and I can't remember the name of the other guy. I'm so sorry.
Nathan Lane.
Nathan Lane. Thank you. Robin and Nathan Lane actually felt like a real couple. You know, they had different aspects to the relationship, and yes, they were in a very flamboyant situation with the Birdcage, but it felt right for them and it felt natural for them. And you could kind of empathize with what was going on with their son, and obviously with the daughter. And then you had, you know, Big Boy on the other side as well, who came from a completely different world, a completely different life, and seeing them trying to unite, you know, with their you know, with their children. You know, the daughter and the son want to marry, but they come from completely different worlds, and it didn't disrespect either side. It didn't say like Gene Hackman is wrong because, you know, he's a little bit more traditional and he's not accepting of all of this nonsense, or you know, Robin Williams is wrong because, you know, he should be this or that. No, it brought them together in such an organic way that you were really rooting for the whole, you know, we were really rooting for all of them. You're rooting for them to get, you know, to become friends. You were rooting for the guy and the gal to get together and have that romantic relationship. For Gene Hackman to embrace a little bit, you know, of what was going on one side. Just, you know, if you could just see, you know, why. And just that to me felt like just organic, opening your eyes and just saying, okay, I come from one side of the fence, but, you know, I kind of understand where these couple of cats are coming from. They might be very different from me, but that doesn't mean we can't, you know, doesn't alienate ourselves from them. And it just allowed you to have the fun of the actual show itself. And the way it ended was quite funny because he has to go through the whole Birdcage and dress up and everything. So he has to practically experience a little thing to get him out of there. But it was done in such a way that I think that if you didn't come away from the Birdcage thinking that, you know, but both families were pretty decent people, then I you know, maybe you missed something there. And I think it probably did something like the Birdcage, even though Robin Williams was straight. Is Nathan Lane straight?
No.
Okay. So even though I mean, he's always acted femme, but you just don't know, do you?
Yeah, no.
But even though Robin Williams was straight, I think that film did more you know, for when I say
highlight the issues.
I don't want to use like inclusion or diversity or fucking buzz lines like that. I think it did more to make you empathetic towards people who have a different sexuality than any of this nonsense which we're getting literally forced by Hollywood. You must accept these. You must accept this. You must. And it's literally, we don't call them the alphabet mafia for nothing, because it does come across as a fucking criminal organization now, and not people who are wanting you to be more open and just to see is this something that you could accept a little bit more in you. But I don't know.
And as going on to your point, that's what I was going to mention as well. The fact that Robin Williams was straight, it's something that you cannot get in today's movies anymore, because whoever is playing the part has to be the part. And I think that the acting caliber is just not there anymore, because you just can't even act the way that you want to present. And it's those kind of movies can never be made nowadays.
Can I just say, this is
People are asking what I have to say about. I haven't seen this movie. It sounds cool.
It's really good, Caller.
I think you'd love it. I think you'd love the birdcage, mate.
And as for the whole, it'll be quick. The aspect of, you're saying that it sounds like the key ingredient here might be well written, but also the everyone always, when people are too political, then someone says lol, they like BioShock, but they don't like things too political. Idiots. It's usually presenting versus preaching, I suppose. To make it as quick as possible or consumable. It's the stop it. You don't have a thing saying this is how you should behave. You instead have two opposing viewpoints, maybe some kind of compromise, reconciliation, something of a story to consume, as opposed to something that evolves into more of a set of commands. And you're like, this isn't as fun anymore. I don't even believe these are people anymore. They seem more like mouthpieces.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. And there were so many auditions and scripts that I turned down. I was like, what the fuck is this? Because I didn't want to be just a mouthpiece for some nonsense I didn't believe in. But somebody else mentioned in the chat, they mentioned Philadelphia, Tom Hanks playing this gay character dying from AIDS, and then the Denzel Washington character, the first scene they have together, they shake hands. It's such a great moment. They shake hands, and Tom Hanks goes, I have AIDS. And you see Denzel go, oh yeah, and kind of wipes his hand off. And so over the course of the film, you see the Denzel character, he's playing a lawyer, so he's representing Tom Hanks. And you see this character have to go through this evolution where he has to learn to understand where Hanks's character is coming from. And it's not like, I don't know, I mean, I didn't see it as this big, I think that's one of those issues or films where you could say like, oh, okay, they're trying to raise awareness about AIDS, okay. But they're doing it in a way where you have these which is like this huge conflict of the time, right? Where you have this one character who is homophobe. He's a homophobe, and there's this disease out there no one knows anything about. And this character comes in, and they both, he has to change, and that is interesting to watch the evolution of a character. I mean, that's we want to see stuff like that, and maybe some people might see that and they might walk out of the theater with their minds changed or with a different perspective on life. We don't need to be lectured to. Just move us in some way. That's what we want.
Present and then allow your audience to think. But hey, this FTE is my friend Stefan. Stefan is the reason why my YouTube channel still exists, because when I went through a real shitty period, this guy was fucking keeping me afloat. He's an unbelievable man. I love him till my dying breath. Stefan, I love you. 240 euros says getting old versus growing up. Not everything is for you. Which is correct. Yeah, he sent another one, which I'm just trying to grab. But we're being lectured to like we need to, conform to what they're saying. You need to agree with what we're doing. And then for another 120 euros, Stefan, is too much, man. Says, finally, things can be shite or good on merit. Not on personal connection to the thing. Exactly. Something could be objectively bad. But there you go. But then you get people from the Rings of Power showrunners calling you inherently evil.
Well, and with regards to Bros, Clifton, the other thing is like I haven't seen the movie, but Chrissy went and saw it, and I was kind of like watching her review of it. And one of the things that I've noticed that happens quite often with movies nowadays that are portraying gay people, especially, is that they're always like into like orgies and things like that. And it's like, gay people are not like that either. Like there's a lot of traditional gay people that are not into just complete debauchery, and I feel like even they are kind of like, well, we're not being shown in the best light, so why would we want to go watch this movie?
I mean, you're right. Yeah, they don't differ than fucking normal people. How many straight people just get like, let's talk about some orgies? Like, what?
But it's how a story's. I mean, I'm a Sweaty Man fan. I love wrestling, and I've been following wrestling for decades of my life, and I think one of the best like romance stories that's ever been told in wrestling was actually between two dudes, which is Kenny Omega and oh my god, my brain's gone dead because it's like 3 hours into the show. But it's between them because they just always had these great like storylines between them, and how they would like split apart, and then they wouldn't get on because one was in another faction and one wasn't, in another.
I've seen it.
And then this is like this story is like a decade in wrestling, Oh, cool. So the whole thing was just that was just such a well-told story. I'm not gay, but it didn't stop me from seeing what they were doing with the characters and relating, to the actual story of two people getting together. So it was just very well done. So all you have to do is have the characteristics. All you have to do is have what people can gravitate towards.
Yeah.
And it doesn't really, if it's well written and well fleshed out, then it won't really matter. The Birdcage is a beloved film. It was #1 at the box office, #1 for several weeks, I believe.
Based on a play that was around forever.
Yeah. And then you had Philadelphia. That was I'm pretty sure that was #1 at the box office as well. Then you had, I know this is going to hate, Gary's going to hate this, but you had Springsteen's Philadelphia, which was a massive hit as well. That was #1 in the charts.
That song is so dumb.
Brokeback Mountain.
Brokeback Mountain was #1 at the box office.
I never saw that one.
Nope, I missed.
Neither did I.
Kota Ibushi, god damn it, thank you.
It's good.
The love story between Kenny Omega and Kota Ibushi.
Yeah, the Philadelphia theme was the sum of Bruce Springsteen's talent mumbling into a microphone. Hopping, mumbling into a microphone. Philadelphia.
Yeah, baby. Guys and gals, we are over the 3-hour mark.
Somebody's mentioning Crying Game for you specifically.
As Crying Game. Crying Game is a banging song, by the way. I love by Boy George. Backup vocals, Neil Tennant, Pet Shop Boys.
Great song.
Fucking banging tune. I don't care. By the way, I was actually invited to the premiere of the Crying Game. I was also invited to the premiere of 4 Weddings and a Funeral because the reason why is at the time as young guys I donated a little. I'm talking a little, I'm not being modest. I mean, a little bit of money to the Terrence Higgins AIDS Trust. And so they would actually send you these flyers saying you can get tickets. So I got invited to the Crying Game premiere. I got invited I didn't go to any of them. I was like under 18 at the time. I got invited to the 4 Weddings and a Funeral. I got
all that in the theaters.
Invited to Edward II. Glad I probably didn't see that film. That was pretty harrowing. But there they go. Crying Game, banging tune from Boy George.
We're talking about the movie, though, specifically for you.
I've seen it. It's a good film.
Did you like it?
Yeah.
I like it, too.
Crying Game is a good film. It's a good movie.
Film. I agreed. I felt so bad for that person.
Somebody also mentioned
Stephen Rea was the main character in Crying Game.
Somebody also mentioned Dallas Buyers Club, Jared Leto and Matt McConaughey. That was a good movie. I mean, just make fucking good movies. That's what we want to see. We will see them about whatever. Just
was Milk good? I never saw Milk with Sean Penn.
It was okay. Like, I mean, you had Sean Penn, you had Josh Brolin, just really, really great actors. I thought it was a bit overrated, but it's a good watch, They
look past all the Harvey Milk's associations. Very questionable associations.
Okay, gotcha.
Like Jim Jones. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, that's awkward.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. Oh yeah. He was
Stefan
bugged.
again, by the way.
Wow.
Another 120 euros says, I recommend looking into stoicism.
Stoicism. Jesus.
Stoicism.
Holy
Sorry.
shit, Az.
Wow, I have
Wow.
stoicism.
Stoicism.
Have you never seen that word before?
Stoicism is a little more accurate.
Are you right? I'm dyslexic, so go fuck yourself.
So am I. You can't get away with that.
I can't get away with that.
No, you can't.
I can. There are certain words I can't pronounce. There are certain words I just can't see.
English is a second language, you guys. Leave him alone.
Educated. I'm not going to come out with.
No, I'm just retarded. You can't control everything around you, but how much you let it bother you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, go on.
I was going to say, I had another thought as well, which is I wonder if part of the problem that we're seeing is that now you have a lot of people who are writing a lot of what's going on.
Sorry,
What, Gary?
Clifton.
What
I'm
happened?
having my what to call it, disability
Made fun of
live on it.
That. I like stoicism. Like I'm stoicism, bro.
Stoic.
Stoicism. Sorry,
Well,
you were making a great, eloquent point.
You bigot.
No,
You're
I was just gonna say
wasted
that,
here. Sorry.
I know.
Sorry,
just pearls before swine. Pearls before swine.
Totally.
But no, I was just saying, I wonder if part of the problem as well is just that you have we have people who are creating these things that are nihilistic, and their view of humanity and of human beings is deeply negative. Their view is that human beings are the problem. You know, I wonder if that's part of it as well, is that they sort of have a distance from people because they have a sort of jaded view of people and who we are. And that's why you see like, oh, you know, evil, good. There's no real clear delineation because everyone could be bad. I mean, which is true. You know, there is good and evil in all of us, but at the same time, some people are really good, some people are really bad. But I don't know. It's just a thought that maybe part of the problem is that there's just a bunch of really just jaded, unhappy, broken, nihilistic people, cynical people, really, who are creating these things, and so they're incapable of putting out stories which are life affirming and create connections amongst between themselves and the audience.
Yeah, I wonder how. I mean, obviously, a lot of that is echo chamber. You know, there is no really political diversity in Hollywood anymore. None that can be overt anyway. And then there's the living in a congested city. I think that definitely contributes to nihilism, because you can really think, especially if you're somebody like there's tons of people in San Francisco who never leave the fucking city, so they think that's the world. They think that's the world.
Same with New York.
Yep. And you know, you get out in the world and it's just not like that. People are much nicer. People are much nicer in Texas, like 1,000 times nicer in Texas than they are in California. So I think a lot of that has to do, get the fuck out of a city. Just get out if you can. Get out. It's so much better.
Concrete jungle, man. It's not good for the soul.
Sorry, Robert McDonald, $50 says, I also choked to death on my Oreo watching Gary, of all people, calling out someone for mispronouncing a word. That is the realest fucking super chat I've seen today.
I can be hypocritical too.
Hey, look, there's an old adage. I think Albert Einstein said it. Something like "takes one to know one." I think.
He's taking his moment, Gary. He's taking that
I
moment.
am taking my moment. Yeah, you know how much grief I get for mispronouncing stuff just because.
Speaking of moments,
out of 3 high schools, like, I mean, honestly, I deserve to be kicked out. I was a little asshole, so I bet, like, still, I was a kid.
Guys, we're over 3 hours as ever. I say to the panel, this is your out period, if you want an out period, as I'm going to go through the super chats from here on in, because they have been piling up, you naughty sausages. So Gary, have you got to go off and do some stuff?
I'll stay for 30 more minutes, man. I'm actually taking the next couple. I'm resting this couple of days because two horrible shows are ending on the same day technically. So I got reviews. So
I get them over 2 days, which is good for me.
Same
here. Well, I'm
going to stop at 4 hours anyway, and any super chats left over, I'll do.
I'll stay.
Clifton, sir, you have been here for a stint.
I have. I got till 5.
Which is.
Sorry, it's about a half an hour from now.
Oh, well, that's where we're going to end anyway. We're going to end on the hour. So, about. Okay, wow, Nina.
I'm here.
Wait, stop. Go Dodgers. Fuck that. Go Padres. Sorry, continue.
Oh,
okay, Nina.
Yeah, go Padres.
I'm here.
Okay, Mola.
10 minutes. I can do 10 minutes.
Hey, dude, if you need to jump out, I'll just jump out now, buddy. It's okay.
I'll give you the 10. Let's do it.
Wow. Okay, let's go.
Wait, did you see Edge Runners yet?
No.
Let's go through some super chats.
He's too busy enjoying the hell out of House of the Dragon and watching it. I know he is. I know when Mahler likes something, he dives in. So there you go.
Yeah, I've been streaming so much I ain't even finished off. I was going to finish it off last weekend, but
I may have put 2 other friends through House of Dragon, but I don't know what you mean, Gary. Just to see that latest episode, then talk to
2 more episodes to go.
2 more, yep.
Talk to me after that.
Yeah. yeah. Tell us.
Marksman of 117B with the $2 says the crown scene was improvised by Matt in House of the Dragon. Supposedly, yeah. Taker 610 with a $20 says Halbrand. My full name is Ron Halbrand Galadriel. Ron? So since you're so sour about your past, you shall be known as King Ron Halbrand, the Sour or King Sour Ron for short. Which would you prefer, Halbrand? It's nothing.
He's been known by many names.
Yeah. Sour Brat. Oh, man. Demon Dog with a $5 says, what did you think of Edge Runners? I still got to finish off. I'm only 2 episodes in. But I'm enjoying so far. The Waltman 4 with a $10 says, I have a request. Definitely watch Wakanda When Nature Calls. It's the soundtrack from the second Wakanda Forever trailer, but with the visuals from Ace Ventura When Nature Calls. Maybe not. Marksman at 117B with a $2 says, how long is your history of grave mistakes? Probably pretty long. Pretty huge. And then Marksman at 117B with another $2 says Cyberpunk Edge Runners is on par with Arcane. Alcatraz S299 with a $5 says, hail all and morning. I've gotten the 4 trades of Dan Jurgen's Thor on my favorite moments. One of my favorite moments is Thor beating Mangog and Thanos. See that?
Mangog.
Or I probably misfucking pronounced it, Mauler.
Don't worry, I'll do it for you. What is it?
Man and then Gog.
What does he do, Gary? What's Mangog's thing?
Did I say it right as well? You're muted. You're muted. You're still. Gary's a boomer. He's muted.
I was watching the fucking Ace Ventura trailer thing.
What's it like?
I can't tell. I didn't get far enough. You're fucking looking at me. So.
Sorry.
Is it Mangog? Is it Gog Magog? Is that what they're talking about?
Mangog. He's saying beat Mangog.
What is? You mean Mangog? I don't know. I was thinking of Kingdom Come or the.
That's Magog.
Magog, yeah, like it's the giant from British lore, or sorry, English lore, right? It's English lore, Celtic lore. Forgive me.
Celtic's like Irish and Scottish.
They're gonna come at me with their little twigs in their hair. By the way, it was so funny. My wife was doing some yard work yesterday, and she came in. She had the blower out, and she had a bunch of fucking leaves in her hair. I'm like, oh, you look like a fucking heart in the shower.
No. Gary ain't getting in for a while.
Nope, I'm not. I got a little bit of trouble.
I hope she. No, I won't say that.
What the fuck is Mangog?
I don't know. This is what it's in the super chat.
Thor villain, apparently. He's a god killer.
That's not. No. Maybe
I'm just reading what's presented to me, sir.
Well, you know that I mean, we love the chat. We know they type everything correctly in their super chats all the time. Like,
I don't know. I've seen Mangog a million times now. Apparently, is a real thing.
Yep. I'll look it up.
That's good.
Oh yeah, it's Thorfinn from the comics. Yeah, like this is like a Kirby one with like those huge, chunky, Kirby teeth. Yeah.
Oh, chompers.
Oh yeah, from 155. There he is.
Altraz S299 with another $5, and he's another one after it as well. So I'll go through them. Also, Metal recommends for Mula, Brother of Metal M Blast Saga album. They take Norse myth and turn them into metal songs.
Ooh, sounds cool.
And lastly, been getting World's Finest lately, and it's been pretty. Definitely recommend since it's free from the cancer killing of the rest of the DC. Fair enough. Sean Godley with the $5 says, eating my Chick-fil-A, drinking my milkshake, ready for the real Bieber say, it's a great day.
Nice.
By the way, I added the... Sith Cake with a $10 says, if I had a nickel for every time Az complimented man boobs, I'd have 2 nickels. There, 2.
You can go look that one up on your own, folks.
There's a possible third, by the way, but we won't go into that.
Everything.
Which
Ace Ventura with the Wakanda. And it's just, I mean, it's really simply done, but yeah, it's the music from the trailer to fucking Ace Ventura. When nature goes just wrong in every way.
Nice.
Yeah, it's only got 500. Search it. It's only got 545 views, but
he says I'd have 2 nickels, which is not a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice. Love you as you're a great sport. Like I have a fucking choice not to take it. I'm only kidding. I love you, chat. I love being. Hey, if you can't can't laugh at yourself, who the fuck can you laugh at?
Nobody.
I've got a lot to laugh at right now.
We all do.
Once I'd just like to compliment a woman on her tits. And even then, I'd probably be slapped across the face. Are you a woman? Yes. You have... Nina, shoulders back. You're welcome, chat. Aurora Uplinks. That's what she said. With a $2 said, wait, are Hulk super smart? Maybe they bad lawyer.
I think Hulk would have made a better lawyer than She-Hulk.
I totally agree. She won Female Lawyer of the Year.
It was a fucking participation trophy, Gary. They all won Female Lawyer of the Year.
Yeah, was it just every lawyer? It looked like.
I so hate that because I feel like, I mean, the concept like She-Hulk attorney at law sounds appealing to me. I'm like, oh, they might be able to do something with that. But
it was.
They could have.
Clifton, have you seen it?
No. Well, like Rings of Power, I've seen the videos about it.
Oh, they did something with it. They did something.
Mahler,
Right.
don't you love how they dealt with the Sokovia Accords? I mean, they just
it was
wrapped
great.
up
A tight little line.
What they do?
I've seen the Marvel people like trying to defend that. They're like, well, yeah, because the Accords are absurd and nonsense. It's like, it doesn't matter whether or not you agree with what was in the Accords. It's about the world building's fallen apart. All the countries took serious issue with all of the heroes just embarking on these great, crazy quests.
Iron Man and Captain America fought over them, and now they're just like, no, really, we don't need it anymore.
There's a film called Civil War. Yes.
The whole point was keeping these crazy superpowered nukes that are running around doing whatever they want accountable, right? It doesn't matter if the Accords were nonsense or not. It's about the countries had to come up with something. That's pretty much what Ross says in the film. He's like, this is basically what we got. Because how the hell do we control a bunch of US-based, sometimes alien people who just go around going, I'm going to destroy this today? I mean, Ultron was a nightmare. They created a robot that tried to kill everyone. Like, it's like, yeah, they stopped it.
They
but look
created
what they did.
a real villain that
So they
was
need-
trying to destroy the world.
You can't just do that shit in our world. You can't get away with it. Stuff will happen. And that's what Civil War was trying to do. It's like, oh, yeah, stuff happened. And then this show was just like, nah.
By the way,
Done.
Age of Ultron. If you watch Age of Ultron now, it is like watching Citizen fucking Kane.
Sam Hatfield, Harvey Birdman is a better lawyer than She-Hulk. Harvey Birdman, it's really a lot of great.
Excellent.
Great show.
Gary, real quick though, I actually didn't get your thoughts on. I didn't catch it on Daredevil's appearance in She-Hulk. Like, what did you other than the walk of shame? Like, what did you think of his whole like the fight scene and like everything that went down?
It was bad. It was all bad. I think it really encapsulates everything wrong with Marvel. That's why I put up that tweet, like how it started, how it's going. And like, I know like Charlie Cox is a good actor, loves the role. He did a competent job. He had actually a couple of good lines of dialogue in a shit show, and it still pales in comparison to what we saw in Daredevil season 1 and season 2, which are going to go down as the best thing Marvel has ever done. Ever.
I agree.
Period.
Someone in chat was like, boo, Mueller supports the Accords. I support them as long as they support me. And what I mean by that is I would have sided with Iron Man and been like, yeah, let's not piss off the government right up until they prevent us from saving people. Then we'll piss them off. Cap wants to opt for going straight to vigilante mode, which I can respect, but I would go vigilante mode as soon as the government prevent us from saving people or force us to kill people that we wouldn't want to, if we were all a team of heroes.
And the roles were always reversed on that too. I know why they reversed them, but that like Iron Man would not be all siding with the government, especially think about why he's Iron Man.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, but he and
he's
Cap
siding
both went on
because
their
of
own.
Ultron.
Yeah, Ultron fucked everything up for him, and Cap is doing it.
I'm thinking more of the comic books, which
I know, but in the films, you know, he's doubting himself.
Yeah. The comic books had a much better reason. Sorry, that I think a superhero accidentally blowing up a school full of kids.
What was wrong with the Wanda reason? Was great. She blew up a whole bunch of people to save some people, and she made the choice, and that's kind of morally.
I thought it was
dubious,
always.
right?
I didn't think she thought it was going to explode through the
No,
building.
well, sorry. That's actually not even what I'm saying. Isn't necessarily true. What really brings the Accords into play is Ultron. Which, to be fair, they drop a building on several people to try and save the world from a monster they created. I do think that's pretty effective, even though I don't think Ultron's that great. But also the opening scene, I think, is a great representation of what power the heroes hold. Wanda decided to save Cap and a bunch of people, and she sacrificed a bunch of people to do so. Not that it was necessarily intentional, but that choice was made. No government had any involvement in that. And that is one person, and she's not even a U.S. citizen. But she runs out of the U.S. So it's like, what the hell do we do here politically, legally? Who's responsible? Who's accountable? That's why I thought the film was really interesting. Oh, well.
Yeah.
Those are good teasers for your audience.
Back when
Not
Marvel
much for
used
that.
to be good.
We'll go back to just everything being willy-nilly nonsense in the multiverse. Woo!
Whose team were you guys on during that movie?
I was
I was on Team Cap.
Iron Man all the way.
I was Team Cap until the revelation at the end, and I was like, Steve, no. You knew the whole time.
For me, it's the reverse. I'd probably be on Cap's team at that point because
I'm on the Liberty side. Yeah,
I was on Cap.
I stayed with Cap all the way.
Me too.
Because even when that was revealed, I legitimately thought that Cap did that from a place of love and
He
respect
absolutely
for
did,
Tony.
yeah.
Same.
That's why I totally understand that decision.
But do you hear what we're talking about now? I mean, for me,
Talk about movies, that's why.
I've probably seen Civil War at least a dozen times. It's probably one of my favorite of the MCU movies. I mean, I never get tired of it. I mean, even that scene on the tarmac when they're running toward each other, I still get goosebumps when they're like running toward each other. Like, they're not stopping. I'm like, yo, they're about to do it. And
I went crazy.
And what people don't get, it's just like, it's not the CG and the costumes and the action and the pew pew. It's that we fell in love with the people underneath the costumes. We fell in love with the characters themselves, and to see all of them, clashing with each other. I mean, it's so riveting, And I acknowledge I was in the theater watching it like I am a 30-something-year-old man here with my 50-year-old friend. And we are in here at 10 a.m. at this matinee watching these fucking superhero movies in New York City. And just like having the time of our lives. It's ridiculous and it's kind of weird, and people could call it childish, but but it's there's a humanity underneath all of that, which is what draws us in, and it hasn't. It's just it's good storytelling. I feel like the Russo brothers sort of elevated the superhero genre in a way that no one else.
Oh
has,
yeah.
honestly.
Well, you just
I think
that
Captain America and Winter Soldier. I think
message, I don't care, he killed my mom. That was one of the most realist fucking lines in the
Right.
entire MCU.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like a complete recognition. It's like, I know I'm not in the right here, but he did something I can't move past that. Like, it's done.
Which makes it so. That's
Real.
what makes it so emotional and so kind of like heartbreaking. And sorry,
let me,
Clifton. Okay,
sorry, let me
you
add,
go.
man.
No,
It's just that because what I loved so much about that is that they were smart enough. The Russo brothers were smart enough in that instance. Like, I mean, because how are you going to follow a spectacle like that airport tarmac scene, right? They followed it up not by trying to make some like big cataclysmic thing. They raised the emotional stakes.
Yes.
So it became deeply personal, deeply viscerally emotional. And that's where the story needed to go. And that's why it was so, they're sitting there fighting. I'm just like, this is amazing. There's only 3 characters in the scene, but I'm riveted.
If you remember as well, that was a subversion. They lead you to believe that Zemo is going to release all the Winter Soldiers, and it will have Bucky, Cap, and Iron Man versus the Winter Soldier Army or something. But no,
which is
Zemo
what they
kills
would
them
do
all.
today, Mauler. I guarantee you.
And Zemo explains, like, why the hell would I want more of these guys? They ruin everything. They destroy everything, destabilize everything.
But they did that.
Even then, when we get that, it's kind of like, okay.
Yeah.
And then that moment at the end, because, you had the fight between the 3 of them. And then you have this amazing moment with Baron Zemo and Black Panther, where he's just sat there. Zemo's done. I've done what I needed to do. I have made you fucking fight. I have put you at each other's throats. I have broken the Avengers. I can't fight you. I'm not strong enough to fight you. I've done it through, using those means. And he's just listening. And we get the full revelation of that was the last message he ever got from his wife before she was killed. And Zemo, he's I'm done. I've done everything I want. And then when instead of getting another fight scene between Nemo now and Black Panther, it's all done so controlled and so calculated. And Black Panther, T'Challa realizes then, and he's just like, okay, I understand your motivations, but I'm going to make you, I'm not going to kill you now, but I'm going to make you pay. You're going to be responsible for those until you die of more natural death. But that just showed the great strength of Chadwick Boseman as Black Panther then, because he's so consistent as a character throughout the whole of Civil War, and even on the tarmac scene when we're getting all the quips from the friends, Clint and Black Widow, we're still friends. You're pulling your punches, Clint, and all this sort of stuff. And then when he gets together with Black Panther, it's like, "Hi, I'm Clint," and he's just like, "I don't care what's your name." Yeah, I don't care. Because it's like, you're just in the way. You're just a person in the way. Because I'm after that fucker there, and it's just like, good.
Black Panther comes out of it a lot cleaner than the others because of the fact he sees Zemo, who's at the end of the journey of revenge, where he's taken it, and how much better does he seem to be? And then Iron Man is in the middle of it. He sees both of them, and he's like, I'm not going to let it consume me like it has you guys.
Right. It's such a great moment of growth and just clarity, and it's so dignified. And I'm like, yes.
And then they had to go ruin it because, as to your point of how they would release all the Winter Soldiers of that, or the soldiers, they basically did in Falcon and the Woke Soldier. They were like, here it's all fucking super soldiers now. Here you fucking go. That's fucking it. It's like
I was actually,
and that's what we got. We got sorry, Mon. We got a good guy who just saw his Bucky be killed. Kill a fucking terrorist who's been involved in the murder of people, and the show's trying to tell you he's the bad guy.
Yep.
Dude,
fuck
he
right
shot
off.
up the Super Soldier theorem when he found that he wasn't, fast enough, strong enough to be able to save the day, sort of stuff. He's the most real character in that show.
Yeah, and he says to Falcon and Bucky, "Hey, let's all work together on this," and they're like, "No."
Nah.
Yeah, this is worse than that. He saves their lives when they first meet, and then they ditch him.
Yeah.
Remember, he nearly gets killed because they ditch him, but they don't care. And the show doesn't realize because we're all supposed to hate Walker. Who cares about Walker? Walker sucks. And the same thing goes for. I was so impressed they didn't destroy Zemo. I was certain that it would make Zemo take the super soldier serum. I was like, go on, do it. Ruin him. Go on. Like,
yeah, I thought they were going to turn him into a bitch.
He came out of there like, not quite as good as Civil War, but pretty much.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He was the character that you were interested in, just like Walker was the character that you were interested in. But then you had these two fucking idiots, Bucky and goddamn, particularly Falcon. Fucking Jesus, wet.
They were ruined.
Oh my god,
they were ruined by that show. Both of them.
Bad. So bad.
And yeah, that's the thing. That's why that show isn't quite as bad as like She-Hulk and Loki, is because at least you get Walker in there. Walker's like the only thing they've done in Phase 4 that's like original, quote unquote, or like new, I guess I should say. That's
that was decent.
I felt like at the end of Endgame when Steve handed the shield to Sam Wilson, I said, I don't know, because I know that at the time it was like, oh, Sam Wilson is Captain America in the comics, but I was hoping they would like maybe go off in the whole like in sort of a takeoff of like Ed Brubaker's Death of Captain America, and we would see Bucky take up the mantle and finally give Sebastian Stan a chance to really like show his stuff. But because I remember that particular run, it was fascinating watching Bucky try to step into the shoes of Steve Rogers. And this big hole is gone because Steve Rogers is dead. And now Bucky has to kind of take up the mantle of like his best friend. They got to like there was so much fertile ground to tell a big story there, but they couldn't do that. They had to go into the whole like we got to do the SJW nonsense. And I'm like, maybe you could do Sam Wilson later, because Captain America, unlike Thor, is actually a title. But it's but you have great material to work from. Just use
Thor's
that.
not a title. Thor is not a title. Thor is his name.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. So someone else could be Captain America. Someone else can't be Thor. But But
the worst thing of what they did. Sorry, go on. You go, Mauler.
I'll be quick. The biggest reason for that being such a frustration is that Falcon was an identity that he brought that hero to where it was. That's where it's all his. Meanwhile, Bucky, the Winter Soldier, is a title that he wants to get away from. His whole story right now is like, that's a horror of my past life. It's not even my life. So giving him Captain America is a way for him to escape. But there's so many stories you can tell with that. And as you said, maybe down the line you can develop some kind of story. But like, why the hell did you take Falcon off him? Now it's going to some other guy, from what I've gathered.
You could have literally made the redemption arc of the Winter Soldier and like actually made it this. It would have been so good.
I mean,
that's the thing, man. Sorry, I'll just really quick. It's like it's hilarious, because what I've seen now is that the part of the issue I think now is that you have a lot of filmmakers and producers who are making films for people who are smarter than they are, which is the general public.
Yes. But with like the Russos, I thought the Russos were absolutely making a movie for me as just as a fan of superhero genre. They weren't trying to belittle me. They would do some clever little reveals down the line. Nice little twists. Always be ahead of your audience. And they were ahead of me on a couple of those occasions. But the worst thing for me about Falcon was you had Steve Rogers give Sam Wilson the fucking shield at the end of Endgame, and then the first thing that Sam Wilson does in Falcon and Winter Soldier is give it away. Is say, I don't deserve this. I don't deserve this. And so when they say, well, we're looking for Captain America, so when they give it to Walker, then he becomes like a jealous bitch.
Yeah.
That Walker's given the you had the fucking shield.
Remember, they get close to killing him to steal the shield from him.
Yes. Snap his arm back.
After he's just lost his... I hate that show so much.
I hate that show so much.
He's just lost... His Bucky to Steve Rogers has just been murdered by a super soldier in front of him.
Yeah.
And he's dealing with the fact that, yes, he just executed someone and everyone was recording with a phone. What does this mean for the future of it? And then two guys come up to him like, give me a shield. It's ours now.
Yeah. You don't deserve it for killing that terrorist.
I wish
that
he
was involved in the murder of multiple people.
Yeah, see, because that's the difference. I don't think I hate She-Hulk. I just laugh at it. It's so stupid and crap. But Falcon and Winter Soldier pissed me off quite a bit.
I was mad at that show.
Yeah.
Angry.
Well, I mean, like, dude, not being able to get credit. It was just like, it was so filled with just that over the top bullshit. By the way, did you see this? I'm going to share it in the chat. Our boy,
we're going to profile you in the projects. We're going to make sure that you don't get credit, even though you are probably one of the biggest celebrities on planet Earth after you brought back 3.5 billion people from dust, but you can't get credit at our bank because you're black. Fuck off.
And then you take like a seminal black character, like had the first Marvel action figure was a Falcon, was Amigo Falcon, right? Remember, had it when I was a kid, when I was like back in the early 70s, and you give them Captain America hand-me-downs, you know, that, and it's a fucking joke.
Did you had him reject it and remain Falcon, and then he's like, no, wait, someone else took it. No, I want it back now.
I want it now. Like a child.
Yeah.
He's playing with, I didn't want that toy, but that kid's playing with that toy. I want that toy back now.
And then when he goes to beat the bad guy, he doesn't even beat the bad guy.
No, he refuses, even though he's just pure evil at that point. She admits to him she's not going to stop. She'll keep killing people. And he's like, well, I'm not going to stop you.
She's a fucking terrorist.
Way to go, Captain America.
Can't fight a woman, can you, Gary?
No.
A man can't fight a woman.
Nope. You can put in these female villains, but you can't have them actually slug it out, which is just really hard in a superhero film. Hey, you know who will be directing a superhero film or a Star Wars film? Kevin Smith.
Wow, that's a shocking news, Gary.
Because he says fandom is, I mean, he didn't say the word toxic, but he basically meant that's because of the toxic fandom. I don't think it has anything to do with his inability to direct a superhero or Star Wars film because he's not talented enough. Yeah, Kevin Smith.
Because he's just gonna cry.
Well, no, he's crying more about fucking He-Man. Like the dude needs more attention because he knows like this is it. This is his last hurrah of relevancy.
Did his other movie even come out, like Clerks 3 or whatever?
It did. And the
fact came out?
No, it came out. Yes.
I didn't even know.
I didn't even know.
The last I saw it made about 6.5 million.
Ooh.
On a budget of what?
I don't know. He might have made, I mean, it's Clerks. It's Kevin Smith. It's indie.
Going to be low
it's
budget,
not
but
mainstream. It's going to be low. Yeah,
would
it's
have
going to
called
be
in
low.
favors as well, like Rosario Dawson probably.
I would guesstimate that it would probably be on a budget of around 4 million. That'd be a guesstimate, though.
So then it made money.
You know, you're saying that they can't get into the fisticuffs and stuff. It's kind of interesting because there was a meme I saw on I can't remember if it was Star Wars memes or something, but it was trying to point out hypocrisy in audiences somehow, and I think it backfired huge. They showed Rey like shouting in the middle of the throne room fight, whatever, and then they showed Vi from Arcane screaming when she's in the middle of a fight. And they're like, why do people like one and not the other? And then, and it just like it's like you're being basically it's the same stuff, but you just hate Star Wars for the sake of it, or something like that. And then loads of talk comments are like, well, to be fair, and even in the screenshots alone, Rey, if you remember, she only gets a little scrape on her arm in the entire like, what is that? 2 movies, 3 movies, whatever. That's like the most she'll ever get hurt, except of course when she temporarily dies from Palpatine sucking on her, whatever. But she comes back, so don't worry about it.
Sucking on her stuff.
But yeah, Vi, she gets beaten the fuck out by several different characters throughout Arcane. She bleeds like crazy. She nearly dies a couple of times. And it was just like, one of the top comments was just saying, it was just cool though, because you knew that she could take a punch and that she fights back, and that none of the women were in any case of like, there's no sense of armor for the women in Arcane. They were just going to get, one of them gets like, on a table, gets injected with a bunch of this like fantasy drug. And she's just screaming in agony throughout the whole scene in an attempt to bring it back to life, sort of thing. There's a lot of stuff in Arcane where you're just like, oh, cool. There's no invincibility for them. And I think that goes a long way, knowing that the women, just like the men, if they're getting into the fight, hey, this is kind of like, sorry, the friend brought this up. I'm kind of rambling here, but the previous episode of House of the Dragon, a younger girl punches a boy, and he fucking punches her right back when she does that.
Right back. She gets knocked. Yeah, she gets her bell rung.
And that's the kind of thing that I know it sounds weird, but it really helps an audience member be like, oh, okay, the girls are not getting they're not getting protected.
That makes the girl tougher automatically. Just like she's taking on somebody who's much bigger than her. She doesn't give a fuck. She's gonna punch him anyway, knowing that she'll probably get punched back, which makes it more badass.
Oh, everyone loves a girl who can take a punch. She's cute to me, especially in
Come
superhero
on,
stuff.
yeah. Oh my God, it's a requirement for a wife for me.
Damn. Very into that S&M.
Okay, hold on. We got some update on Clerks 3. I have greatly exaggerated what they took at the box office.
Okay, wow. All right.
It took apparently it was on a $7 million budget, and it took 3.1 million.
Oh.
Damn.
I say this with love. Kevin Smith couldn't fucking get a Star Wars fucking movie or a Marvel movie if he tried.
No, that's why. Like, somebody, would you write or direct? Like, nobody would ask Kevin Smith to write or direct a fucking Marvel or Disney, and not even the dog shit they're doing now.
Really? You don't think Kevin Feige would?
No, not even Kevin Smith is not a talented director.
Actually, Gary, just realized something. This is why Kevin Smith was trying to get clout off of Yellow Flash on Twitter.
Yeah. No, and that's what he's trying to do now. He's trying to get more clout now.
Because Yellow Flash is more fucking relevant than fucking Kevin Smith. Oh, by the way, and we saw the other week when we were streaming and we had like 6,000 watching us. It would have been more if it was on Gary's channel. And Kevin Smith had 630 streaming at the same time.
I just want to compare because I'm checking the numbers from what you said. So as you said, gross worldwide for Clerks 3 as of today. I'm assuming it's not completely done yet, but yeah, 3,100,000. I just checked. I guess it's a coincidence. 3,200,000 for the original Clerks gross worldwide. Right.
Ooh, what would that be with inflation? You know,
well, that's true. But also, let's compare the budgets, shall we? $7 million estimate budget for Clerks 3, $27,000 for the budget for Clerks 1. Like, times they are a changing for Mr. Smith.
And what that was his weed budget. Let's be real.
Well, what's crazy is just like that's an amazing turnaround, right? 27,000 into 3 million. So that's an amazing ratio. It's like Saw, right, where they cost $1 million and they made like 100 million. It's like holy shit.
What did Blair Witch cost? Like 80,000?
Something like that.
Yeah, something like it was really low.
I think even less.
Yeah, it made so much money.
The thing with Clerks was just that it's so cheap. Like, of course, going to make a profit, right? It's like apparently not this time. Like, not this time.
So I'm just thinking as a rational, hopefully a semi-rational human being at least. Who the fuck would give Kevin Smith $7 million for Clerks 3? I thought I was really being generous with 4. I thought it's probably going to cost like $1 million, $2 million tops. Who gives him $7 million expecting to make a profit from Clerks fucking 3?
It's crazy.
No wonder why he's a little nervous.
Dick. Right, folks, we're gonna wrap it up here. I will do the super chat square up on Sunday with an afternoon tea with Az. I just want to grab the Martino Simone $100, which is unbelievable. Hangry is angry with a $50. Says, I hear you. I'm 48 and remember the Cold War and the nuclear threat. Have some funds and get yourself something mediocre. As I thought that person was a woman too. You need to cleanse the palate. Go look at some real titties. Thank you. I think that was a compliment. We've got to do the No Zaku boy. No Zaku boy with $100 says, who sees into the hearts of men and the undergarments of women? Peeping Tom. Halloween is in full swing with an alien invasion. Fucking hell, you bastard. The trans Martians have come to take the one resource on Earth worth defending. Can Tom see an end to the invasion of the booby snatchers?
Hey-o.
Hey-o.
Hey-o. I'm just trying to give the big, because I didn't with the big boys the other week, so I'm just trying to grab the Big boys. That doesn't mean that anyone else is diminished. Doesn't mean that anyone else is diminished. Okay. And then Stefan, we pulled Stefan's ones up. Stefan, thank you so much indeed. And then Robert McDonald, we pulled that $50 up as well. So I will go through the remaining super chats Sunday, 2 p.m. UK time, which will be 6 a.m. in the morning Pacific, 8 a.m. Central, 9 a.m. Eastern. So it will be up on the channel if you miss it and you want to go through that with us. Gary, anything you'd like to plug before we go, sir?
Oh, I'm busy on stuff.
Good energy.
Thank you, no, dude. I have none. Like this Rings of Power 2 months has kind of burnt me out a little bit. So I'm looking forward to it being fucking done this week. So yes, She-Hulk review.
I feel you, bro. Why do you think I'm streaming video games all the time at the minute? I need to get the poison out of my it's to get rid of the poison, Gary. It's to get rid of the fucking poison because it's up here. It's up here and it's coming out the ears and the fucking nose and the mouth.
If it wasn't for House of the Dragon, I don't know what the fuck. But yeah, so yeah, She-Hulk end of season review will be out. Of course, the Rings of Power. I'll be live on Thursday. And then, of course, we're going to talk about it on Friday Night Tights with Shad and Disparu. Who knows who else will be there. And then on Saturday, making a cameo on EFAP.
Yeah, we're going to break it down too, because why not?
Why not? And Sunday, of course, House of the Dragon penultimate episode, which is what I'm looking forward to this week.
Yeah.
Nina.
Thank you for having me on, as always. Tomorrow I'm going to be doing Breaking the Narrative with my guest, Brittany Venti. She'll be on at 10 Eastern on my channel.
Bimbo Power.
Yeah, Bimbo Power. And
at the end. Kidding, Brittany.
And on Fridays, as always, Infinite Hope, good news right before Friday Night Tights, 2:45. And I request that everyone go watch my video that I made entitled Why Hero Culture is Being Destroyed by the Left, or the Death of Culture. So there you go. It's a highlighted video on my channel. Please go check it out because it's being shadow banned. So thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Nice. Molly.
Yeah, we got that EFAB episode coming up. Going to be all about Rings of Power. I'm going to try and get Gary on there for a little bit, but also we got that wonderful Disparu and Little Platoon are going to be coming on, and that makes me think we may not get both episodes done in one episode because that tends to happen. It takes like 7 hours per episode. So yeah, join us for that. And well, I'm desperately trying to get through the God of War games as well as Scorn, as well as Soma this month, ready for Ragnarok coming out next month. And because it's Spooky Ween, so I'm on a bit of a timeline to the point of I'm going to stream God of War 2 as soon as probably as this stream is ending. So if you want to see that, if you want company, it's on Mauler. I'm going to talk about all kinds of crazy things, I imagine.
Thank you. And lovely special guest today, Clifton. It's been wonderful to have you on, sir.
The real BBC.
Wow.
Man, I ain't got shit. No, thanks. No, it's always fun to hang out with you, with you fine people. I still got the YouTube channel, Clifton Duncan, with the podcast, Clifton Duncan Podcast. The most recent episode was with Naomi Wolf. It's a Rumble exclusive because you know how YouTube is with these sort of awkward subject matter. So we're really trying to build up the Rumble channel. Subscribe to me on there. I am verified, so you need to. So if you see someone called Clifton Duncan, they don't got a little check next to the name, that's not me. But we're about to set up some more interviews with some really fascinating people. I want to check the channel, the YouTube channel, in some different directions as well. Help that grow. So sub to me over there, Clifton Duncan. We're just past 23,000 subscribers, which I never thought would ever happen. I guess Gary is a prophet. You can find me on Twitter at Clifton A. Duncan. Nerds for Damas. Yeah, oh, and then there's a fun project I'm gonna sort of tease for now, and it kind of relates to what we were talking about earlier about the Berlin Wall. There was an audio book I narrated, which will be out sometime by the end of this year, called Berliners. It's a young adult novel. It's about these two twin brothers who live in East Germany, and the ideological splits between the two of them. Versus the more freedom-minded brother who was an actor, and the more indoctrinated brother. It's a really good story. I think it's really fascinating. The author's name is Vesper Williams. I'll be talking to her about that. So be on the lookout for that in the next few weeks or so as well. But that's about all I got going on, my friends.
Have you seen Goodbye Lenin? Just a matter of interest.
I have not.
That's great. That's about the fall of the Berlin Wall and a family on the east side of Germany. The mother is kind of like they're trying to prevent the mother from realizing what's happening. She's dying, and they're trying to prevent the mother from realizing what's happening because she's actually all pro, while they are, more welcoming to the wall coming down and stuff. It's a really good film. It's a really good film. German film, really good film.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's
thank you for.
good book.
Go on, sorry.
Sorry, I was gonna say yeah. If you have young kids, I definitely recommend the book. It's a beautiful book, and it really covers an important time, and it's a reflection of the ideological battles that we're having today. Very, very smart, very smart and accessible writing.
Cool. It's been great having you on, dude. You've been amazing. So thank you very much indeed for coming on today. Chat, thank you so much for tuning in. Massive, like 7.4 thousand. That's crazy. Absolutely amazing. Huge thank you to all my subs. Thank you so much indeed. Mods, my members, of course. Huge thank you to everyone who hit a super chat. Remember, super chat square it will be Sundays. If you didn't get it read out today, apologies. Obviously, there was a ton of conversation going. So I will do a special stream Sunday, 2 p.m. UK time to go through all of those. Thank you to Gary, Nina, Mauler, Clifton. Thank you for being guests. Everyone who hit the membership button as well. Massive thumbs up to the whole job, a lot of you. I know Bashi Washi gifted at least 10 subs. I saw that at the beginning before we even went live. So thank you for that, dude. So until the next time, you take care. Bye, Isom number 1. Bye for now.
And trans titties are real titties.
They're not.
Anime titties.
But I'll still